There came a time in my life when nothing made sense anymore. The people I trusted began to drift away. The plans I made started to fall apart. The path I once walked with confidence suddenly turned dark and quiet. I thought I was being punished, but now I understand. I was being prepared. The universe was not against me. It was teaching me. It was breaking me open so that light could finally reach places that pain had hidden. I learned that when life starts removing things, it's not cruelty, it's clarity. What was taken away was never truly mine. What was meant for me was waiting for my higher self to wake up. In the silence that followed the storm, I began to see signs, patterns, and messages that I had ignored for years. The whispers became lessons. The lessons became laws. And those laws changed everything about how I live, love, and see the world. The universe speaks a language beyond words. A language written in light, vibration, and rhythm. It speaks through the sunrise and the moonlight, through the breath you take and the emotions you feel. It speaks through dreams, numbers, and energy. It speaks through endings that turn into beginnings. And the more I listened, the more I understood that there is no separation between the divine and the daily. Everything is spiritual. Everything is connected. I stopped calling my life a struggle and started calling it a classroom. Every soul I met was a teacher. Every failure was an initiation. Every heartbreak was an opening. I began to see that there are laws guiding everything, invisible but exact. And when I aligned myself with these laws, peace returned. When I ignored them, chaos grew. One day, I stood under the morning sun and felt warmth, not just on my skin, but in my spirit. I realized this light wasn't just physical. It was medicine. It was healing me from the inside out. Later, I stood under the moon and felt a pull in my heart, a quiet voice telling me to listen deeper, to trust the unseen. I started to notice that the more I breathed with intention, the more energy flowed through me. My breath, my body, the earth, the stars, all were part of the same divine rhythm, and that is when everything changed. I understood that spirituality was not something I practiced on Sundays. It was the invisible heartbeat of every moment. The laws of the universe were not mysteries to fear, but truths to remember. I began to walk through life differently, with awareness, with reverence, with peace. I no longer chased what I wanted. I attracted it by aligning with it. I no longer feared what I didn't understand. I trusted that every lesson, even the painful ones, were written for my highest good. If you are listening to this now, maybe you too have felt lost, confused, or disconnected. Maybe you've questioned why things happen the way they do. I want you to know, nothing is random. You are not lost, you are being led. You are not broken, you are being built. The universe has been trying to reach you, not through noise but through stillness. All you need to do is quiet your fear long enough to hear it. Because once you truly hear it, once you remember how energy, light, karma, breath, and love intertwine, you will never see the world the same again. You will understand that healing is not a destination, but a journey. You will realize that happiness and self-love are not luxuries but medicine for the soul. You will awaken to the truth that everything, absolutely everything, is connected. And so I speak these 9 lessons not as theories, but as truths carved into my heart by experience. Lessons that came from both the joy and the suffering, from both the sunlight and the shadow. The universe taught me that the sun is medicine, karma is real, prana is life, and the moon is guidance. It showed me that manifestation is real, that healing never ends, that energy can be felt, and that self-love is the highest frequency of all. Each of these lessons is a doorway, and when you walk through them, you return home to yourself. You begin to see that you are not separate from the divine. You are the divine, breathing, learning, remembering. These are the 9 spiritual lessons that changed my entire life. Listen with your soul, not your ears, because somewhere between these words, you will remember who you truly are. There was a time when I thought the sun was just a star in the sky, a ball of fire rising and setting like clockwork. But one morning, as I stood in silence, something shifted. The sunlight that touched my skin felt alive, almost intelligent. It was as if the rays themselves were speaking, whispering ancient truths that my soul had forgotten. And in that moment, I understood something simple yet sacred: the sun is medicine. Every beam of light carries information, divine energy, pure consciousness, the very breath of creation. When you step into the sun with awareness, you are not just absorbing warmth, you are absorbing wisdom. The same light that wakes the flowers and turns seeds into forests is the same light that heals your body and renews your spirit. The sun is not just above you, it is within you. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, "Man receives only that which he sees himself receiving." The sun is the mirror of that law. It gives unconditionally to all, but only those who open their hearts truly receive its blessing. The sun rises for everyone, the grateful and the bitter, the broken and the whole. Yet not everyone feels its healing, because healing is not in the light alone, it is in the openness to receive it. Each morning, when the sun touches your eyes, it sends signals to your body, reminding you that life is beginning again. It awakens your cells, it balances your rhythms, it restores your mind. But beyond biology, it whispers spiritual truth. You are light too. The reason sunlight feels like home is because it is your origin. You were created from light, and that light still burns inside you. Stand before the morning sun and you will feel it, that quiet, golden pulse that says, you are not separate from the source. It doesn't matter how heavy your thoughts have been or how dark your nights have felt. The moment light touches you, the law of renewal begins. No matter how many times you have fallen, the sun will always rise to remind you that beginnings are never finished. They repeat every dawn. The sun heals not only through its rays but through its rhythm. It teaches consistency, patience, and divine timing. It does not rush to shine, it rises in silence, faithful and sure. It does not compete with the moon, it simply knows its place in the grand design. The sun teaches us to show up, to radiate without needing validation, to shine even when no one applauds. It does not ask the clouds to move before it rises. It shines through them anyway. This is the medicine we forget to take. We chase complicated cures, while the greatest healer rises outside our window each day. The sun does not charge for its service. It gives freely, endlessly, without judgment. Its energy fuels all life, plants, oceans, animals, and you. When you lift your face toward it and say, "Thank you," you enter divine alignment. Gratitude opens a portal, and through that portal, the light enters not just your skin but your soul. The ancient mystics knew this. They prayed to the rising sun not as a god, but as a reflection of God, a visible sign of the invisible source. To face the sun is to face truth. To turn away is to turn from your own power. And so, every morning, make it your ritual to meet the light. Even if the sky is cloudy, speak to it anyway. The sun still hears, the energy still flows, the healing still happens. Say softly to yourself, as the sun rises, so do I. As the light grows stronger, so does my faith. As warmth fills the earth, abundance fills my life. These words are not poetry, they are prayer. You are aligning yourself with the rhythm of creation. You are drinking medicine older than time. There will be days when you feel heavy, when life feels dim. On those days, remember this truth: the sun has never stopped shining, you have only stepped into the shade. The light is still there, waiting for you to turn toward it again. Step out of fear, out of guilt, out of self-doubt. Step into the light, and let it remind you of what you are made of: radiant energy, divine intelligence, infinite possibility. The sun teaches us the greatest lesson of all. No matter how long the night, the dawn will always come. No matter how cold the season, warmth will return. No matter how many times you've fallen, light will find you again. The sun is proof that God has never left the world, or you. So tomorrow, before the world wakes, step outside and let the first light touch your skin. Close your eyes and feel the medicine move through you. Say with gratitude, I receive the light. I receive the healing. I receive the life. For in that moment, you are not just standing under the sun, you are standing inside the presence of divine renewal. There is a law that never sleeps. It moves silently, unseen, yet it governs everything you experience. This law is older than words, older than religion, older than time itself. It is the divine echo of energy, the rhythm that returns to every soul exactly what it sends. This is the law of karma. Karma is not punishment. Karma is not reward. Karma is balance, perfect, mathematical, spiritual balance. It is the universe's way of maintaining harmony in a world of free will. Every thought, every word, every act carries vibration, and vibration is never lost. It circles through the ether, gathering its own kind, until it returns home to its creator. That is why Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Whatever man sends out in word or deed will return to him. What he gives, he receives." When I first began to understand karma, I feared it. I thought it meant I was doomed to relive my mistakes, to pay endlessly for every wrong step. But that is not divine law. That is human guilt. The truth is softer, wiser, kinder. Karma is not here to hurt you. Karma is here to teach you. It is the hand of the universe guiding you back into alignment with your higher self. It corrects imbalance not to destroy, but to restore. When you send out love, love must return. When you send out bitterness, it too must return, not because the universe wants to punish you, but because it wants you to see the mirror of your vibration. Karma is the teacher that shows you what you have created so you can create better. It is the reflection that helps you remember your power. Think of it this way: every action is a seed. You can plant peace or chaos, compassion or criticism. Whatever you plant, the soil of the universe will nurture it and return it multiplied. That is why it is so important to choose your energy consciously. You are always sowing something, even with silence. A kind thought can heal a stranger. A harsh word can bruise a friend. Every moment is a chance to plant differently. Sometimes, karma doesn't come back quickly. That delay isn't absence. It's mercy. The universe gives you time to grow, to understand, to evolve before your own energy returns. The delay is grace. It's the divine saying, "I'll give you time to shift before the mirror reflects." And when it finally comes back, it's never random. It comes when you're ready to recognize yourself in it. If you have hurt someone and later felt pain, that is not cosmic revenge. That is recognition. You are remembering how it feels, so your soul will not forget the lesson. And when you forgive someone who has wronged you, you break the cycle. You stop the echo. You clear the energy. Karma heals the moment you choose awareness. Florence Scovel Shinn called karma the boomerang of the spoken word. She warned us to watch not only what we do but what we say. Words are carriers of energy. A single complaint can create more reasons to complain. A single blessing can multiply joy in ways you cannot see. The law of karma does not miss a whisper. The energy you release will always find its way back. But you decide what it will bring with it. If your life has felt heavy, if it seems that the same patterns keep returning, pause and look inward. The universe may be showing you the seeds you planted long ago. Do not despair. Do not call yourself unlucky. Karma is not a curse, it is a compass. It points you back to the truth of your vibration. Once you change your energy, the direction of your life must change too. There is also something sacred in positive karma, the invisible grace that returns to you from good you've long forgotten. A favor done with love. A prayer whispered for someone else. A smile given freely. Those energies are not lost. They circle in light, waiting for the perfect moment to return. And when they do, they often arrive as miracles you didn't expect. A new opportunity, a helping hand, a sudden blessing that makes you whisper, "Where did this come from?" It came from you. It came from love you sent out long ago. So today, begin to walk consciously in the law. Speak good words. Think peaceful thoughts. Act with kindness. Do not do it for reward. Do it for alignment. Do it because you understand that everything you send returns magnified. The one who gives love lives in love. The one who gives peace lives in peace. And if you have made mistakes, bless them. Bless your old self for doing the best it could with the awareness it had. Release guilt and plant forgiveness in its place. For karma is not the end. It is the continuation. You can always plant again. You can always begin again. Remember this truth. The energy you release is your eternal companion. Choose it as carefully as you choose your words. Every sunrise is a new chance to send light into the world. Every sunset is the closing of one cycle and the beginning of another. Karma is real, yes, but it is also redeeming. When you walk in awareness, when you live in love, The law itself becomes your guardian. And so I say, let your thoughts be blessings. Let your words be light. Let your actions ripple like healing waves. For the energy you send will always return, carrying with it the signature of your soul. There is a sacred rhythm that keeps you alive, though you rarely think about it. It is not your heartbeat, though it sustains your heart. It is not your mind, though it calms your mind. It is your breath, your prana, the life source of energy flowing through you this very moment. You inhale, and the universe enters you. You exhale, and you give back to it. Between those two movements, the breath in and the breath out, lies the entire mystery of existence. Prana is not just oxygen. It is not air alone. It is divine electricity, spiritual current, the invisible light that animates every living thing. Without it, the body is still. With it, even silence glows with life. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man is a spiritual being, and spirit is substance. That substance is prana. It is the proof that God lives inside you. Every breath you take is a reminder that the universe has not forgotten you. It is still giving, still sustaining, still flowing through your being. You may lose money, people, direction, or time, but as long as you have breath, you still have everything. Breath is permission to begin again. When you breathe consciously, you stop merely existing and start participating in creation. Each inhale is an act of receiving divine energy. Each exhale is an act of release, letting go of what is heavy, what is old, what is no longer yours to carry. When you breathe with awareness, you cleanse not only your lungs but your spirit. Pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Feel it move through your nose, down your throat, into your chest. That is God entering your body as life. The same prana that moves through the oceans and trees is moving through you. The same energy that makes the sun rise is flowing in your veins. You are not separate from the source. You are made of it. When your breath is shallow, your thoughts become restless. When your breath is calm, peace returns. The way you breathe mirrors the way you live. To rush your breath is to rush your life. To hold your breath is to hold your blessings. But when you breathe with faith, you allow divine order to move freely through you. In the ancient wisdom of the East, prana is called the universal life force. It flows through invisible channels in your body called nadis, energizing every organ, every cell, every emotion. When your energy is blocked, you feel anxious, heavy, or tired. When prana flows freely, you feel light, inspired, alive. That is why spiritual masters teach breath before they teach prayer. Because until you breathe correctly, you cannot hear the divine clearly. Breath is the antenna that tunes you into God's frequency. Sometimes when life feels overwhelming, the solution is not to do more, it is to breathe deeper. The moment you pause and inhale consciously, you return to alignment. You draw spirit back into the body and silence back into the mind. The power of breath is the power to reset. When Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Be still and know," this is what she meant, to return to breath. Because in stillness, you hear God. In stillness, you remember who you are. Every breath you take is a whispered reminder. You are alive. You are loved. You are guided. There will be days when you feel disconnected, when your mind races and your spirit feels far away. In those moments, return to your breath. Inhale light. Inhale strength. Exhale doubt. With every cycle, you renew your energy. Prana does not run out. It is infinite, like the ocean. Even when waves crash, the ocean remains whole. Even when storms rise, the current continues to move beneath. You are that ocean. Your breath is your tide. When you learn to move with it, you no longer drown in emotion. You float in awareness. The breath carries you back to center, where divine intelligence resides. Every prayer, every affirmation, every manifestation begins with breath. You cannot call in abundance while holding your breath in fear. You cannot invite love while breathing in guilt. The breath must be open, spacious, willing. Prana obeys your belief. When you breathe as if you are safe, safety finds you. When you breathe as if you are provided for, provision arrives. So the next time you pray, do not rush your words. Begin with silence. Inhale slowly, knowing the universe is filling you with new energy. Exhale fully, releasing everything that no longer serves you. Let the breath become your first language of faith. Before you speak any words, Let the body speak through breath. I receive. I trust. I allow. Prana is proof that God is always near. You don't have to go anywhere to find Him. He moves in and out of you 20,000 times a day. And each time you breathe consciously, you are saying yes to life again. You are saying yes to healing. You are saying yes to the energy that sustains planets, stars, and souls. Breathe now, beloved. Inhale peace. Exhale everything else. Let the rhythm of life remind you that you are not disconnected from the source. You are the source expressing itself as breath, as spirit, as creation. For in the end, prana is not something you have. It is what you are. You are the breath of the universe, remembering itself through you. There is a wisdom that does not come from the mind, but from the silence of the soul. It whispers softly, not in words, but in knowing. You have felt it before, that quiet intuition, that sudden inner voice, that dream that felt more real than waking life. This is your psychic ability, your divine intuition, and the moon, radiant and eternal, is its keeper. The sun awakens your body, but the moon awakens your spirit. It governs the hidden tides within you, the waters of emotion, the waves of energy, the quiet language of the unseen. Just as the moon pulls the ocean, it also pulls the energy within your body, your feelings, your intuition. That is why on full moons you feel more sensitive, more aware, more alive. The light of the moon does not just shine upon the earth. It illuminates what lies within you. There was a time when I didn't understand this. I dismissed my inner feelings as imagination, my dreams as coincidence. But the more I observed the moon, the more I began to see a pattern. As the moon waxed, so did my clarity. As it waned, my spirit called me to release. I began to realize that the moon was not just a light in the sky, it was a mirror of my own inner world. When I aligned with her rhythm, my intuition deepened, my dreams grew vivid, and my soul began to remember its ancient language. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Intuition is the spiritual faculty that does not explain but simply points the way." The moon strengthens this faculty. It amplifies the voice of intuition so that you may hear it above the noise of fear and logic. It teaches you to trust your feelings, your hunches, your inner compass. When you live by intuition, you live in divine order, for the intuition is God's guidance made personal. When you stand beneath the moon, close your eyes and feel her energy wash over you. She does not speak loudly. She speaks through sensation, through the gentle stirring of your heart, through the sudden thought that feels right, through the image that flashes before sleep. These are not random. They are messages from your higher self, carried by the rhythm of the moon. The ancients understood this connection. They held moon rituals not out of superstition, but out of remembrance. They knew the moon ruled cycles, not just in the sky, but in the soul. Every phase of the moon reflects a phase within you. The new moon is for beginnings, to plant intentions in the dark. The waxing moon is for growth, to nourish your dreams. The full moon is for illumination, to reveal what you need to see. And the waning moon is for release, to let go of what no longer serves. When you move in harmony with this rhythm, your psychic senses open naturally, because you are no longer fighting against the flow of divine timing. Your dreams, too, become gateways under the moon's light. When the moon is full, the veil between the seen and unseen grows thin. Your subconscious speaks louder. Your higher self shows you visions, symbols, memories. Pay attention to them. Write them down. The moon speaks through your dreams, and those dreams are guidance wrapped in mystery. To strengthen your psychic ability, you must learn the art of stillness. The moon does not shout, it listens, it reflects, it waits. Be like her. In stillness, you will begin to sense energy, the way a room feels before words are spoken, the emotion behind someone's eyes, the shift in your body when something is true. That sensitivity is not weakness, it is your gift. The world calls it overthinking, but the spirit calls it awareness. The more you honor it, the stronger it becomes. Under the moon cleans your energy. You can whisper, "I release all that is not mine. I clear all that no longer aligns." Imagine the moonlight entering your crown and flowing through your body, washing away heaviness, brightening your aura, refilling your energy field with divine light. You are reconnecting to your natural psychic rhythm, the ability to sense truth without proof, to feel energy before it becomes form. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that faith is seeing the invisible. Psychic ability is faith in action. It is the soul's way of navigating life through trust instead of sight. The moon trains your faith. It teaches you to believe in the unseen, because she herself is sometimes hidden yet always present. Even when you cannot see her, she is there. That is divine law. So whenever you feel lost or uncertain, look up at the night sky. Speak softly to the moon. Illuminate what I cannot see. Strengthen my inner knowing. Guide me with divine light, then listen. The answer will come, not through noise, but through peace. The moon's greatest lesson is this: you do not have to force clarity. You only have to allow it. You do not have to chase intuition. You only have to trust it. The more you trust your inner knowing, the louder it becomes. The more you honor your own rhythm, the closer you align with divine timing. You are, after all, made of the same elements as the stars and the moon. You are not separate from their magic. You are a reflection of it. The moon strengthens your psychic abilities, not because it gives them to you, but because it reminds you that they were always there. So tonight, when the world grows quiet, stand beneath her light. Breathe, listen, feel. Let her remind you that within you lives a universe of knowing, ancient, powerful, divine. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when you finally understand. Nothing in this universe stands alone. Every heartbeat echoes through eternity. Every thought ripples across creation. Every act of kindness, every breath of faith, every whisper of love travels farther than the eye can see. You are not separate from anything. You are part of everything. For so long, I lived as if life were divided, me and them, success and failure, heaven and earth. I thought I was walking through a world that existed outside of me. But then, one quiet evening, while watching the stars, I felt something indescribable. An invisible thread weaving everything together. The breeze that touched my face, the rhythm of my breath, the pulse of the earth beneath my feet. All of it was one divine song, one heartbeat, one consciousness moving through countless forms. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man can only receive what he sees himself receiving." That means that life mirrors the energy you send into it, because the world is not separate from you. It is responding to you. The universe is not a place you live in, it is a field that lives through you. You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean, expressed as one drop. When you begin to see through this lens of unity, life becomes sacred again. You understand that your thoughts are not private, they are energy in motion. When you speak love, you add harmony to the collective field. When you choose forgiveness, you lighten the vibration of the whole planet. That is why every act matters, because every act contributes to the great web of life. Think of a spider's web in the early morning, covered in dew. Touch one thread, and the entire web moves. This is how energy works. What you think of another, you think into the field. What you feel for yourself, you transmit to all. You are constantly shaping the invisible. That is why you must guard your mind as sacred space, because what you nurture there eventually blooms in the world. When someone hurts you, and you choose peace instead of revenge, that vibration travels through the web of creation and returns to you multiplied. When you pray for another, that prayer becomes light in their field and healing in yours. Energy never ends, it only transforms. Every good thought you have is eternal. Every act of love you perform becomes part of the divine memory of the universe. Science calls it quantum entanglement. When two particles become linked, their behavior mirrors each other, no matter how far apart they are. Spirit has been teaching this for centuries. What is done to one is done to all. This is why love heals and hatred wounds not only others, but ourselves. You cannot curse another without dimming your own light. You cannot bless another without blessing yourself. The trees you pass on the way to work, the sky above your roof, the people you meet, all are connected to you through unseen threads. When you smile at a stranger, the vibration of that smile ripples outward, touching lives you will never meet. When you speak words of hope, they travel through time, echoing in the hearts of those who need them most. Energy is never lost, It circles back, carrying the essence of what you sent. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that there is no separation in mind. The divine mind connects everything through perfect law. So when you hold loving thoughts, you align with the rhythm of creation. When you dwell in fear or anger, you pull away from harmony. The choice is always yours, to create with love or destroy with fear. The universe responds to vibration, not to words alone. You can say, "I love the world," but if you think bitterness, the vibration is contradiction. True alignment happens when your thoughts, emotions, and actions all sing the same note. When you live in alignment, you become a tuning fork for grace, and your presence alone heals others without you even trying. Everything you touch touches you back. The earth beneath your feet listens. The air around you remembers. The people who pass you by feel the frequency of your spirit. You are a walking field of energy, and your every vibration matters. The more you understand this connection, the more responsible you become for your own light. So when you feel lonely, remember you are never alone. The wind knows your name. The stars have watched over you since before you were born. Every atom in your body once belonged to the ocean, the sky, or the flame. The universe has shared itself with you. You are literally made of everything that ever was and ever will be. When you pray, the universe listens. When you cry, the universe feels. When you love, the universe expands. You are not a separate spark. You are the fire itself. So live as if every action is holy, because it is. Speak as if every word will echo through eternity, because it will. Think as if every thought creates a world, because it does. Everything is connected. Everything is alive. Everything responds to love. There are two worlds you live in, the one you see and the one that creates what you see. Most people spend their whole lives reacting to the outer world, never realizing that it is only a mirror of the inner one. But once you awaken to this truth, everything changes. You no longer chase, you command. You no longer wish, you align. You no longer pray as if you are separate. You create as if you are one with the Creator. That is the law of manifestation, and it is as real as the ground beneath your feet. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man can only receive what he sees himself receiving." That is the key to all creation. The universe does not respond to your words, it responds to your vibration, the feeling behind the word, the image behind the thought. Every emotion is an order you place with the divine. Every image you hold in your mind is a blueprint for your reality. You are manifesting constantly. The only question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? When I first discovered this truth, I was humbled by it. I realized that every blessing and every challenge in my life had been drawn by my own vibration, by what I expected, feared, or believed. The law was never against me. It was always serving me, mirroring me faithfully like a divine servant that never sleeps. I learned that my thoughts were not harmless. They were alive. They were creative. They were the invisible architects of my world. To manifest is to become deliberate with your energy. It is to imagine, believe, and feel as if your desire is already yours. When you align thought, feeling, and faith into one vibration, the unseen must become seen. This is not wishful thinking. This is spiritual law. Florence called it the game of life, but it is a game of alignment. You win when you stop doubting the unseen. Lucid dreaming is one of the most powerful doorways into manifestation. It is the state where your soul remembers its creative power. In lucid dreams, you realize that you can fly, move mountains, or create entire worlds with thought alone, and that experience is not fantasy, it is remembrance. It is your spirit reminding you that you are a creator even while you sleep. The dream world is not separate from the waking world. It is the same energy field in a softer form. When your conscious mind sleeps, your subconscious takes control, and the subconscious is the workshop of creation. That is why it is so important to guard the last thoughts you have before sleep. They sink into the soil of your subconscious and grow into the circumstances of your life. Before bed, speak light into your dreams. Say, "Tonight I dream with clarity. Tonight I remember my divine power. Tonight I see myself living in abundance, peace, and love." As you drift, imagine yourself in the reality you desire. See it, feel it, walk in it. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between imagination and memory. It only knows vibration. What you feel repeatedly, it must manifest. Lucid dreaming is your nightly rehearsal for miracles. It trains your soul to believe that anything is possible. It reminds you that form follows faith, that imagination is the womb of reality. The dream is your spirit playing with potential before it solidifies into matter. That is why you sometimes wake from a dream that feels more real than life. Because, on a spiritual level, it is. When you combine manifestation and lucid dreaming, you align with divine creation in both realms, conscious and subconscious, seen and unseen. You become a deliberate participant in your destiny. You stop waiting for signs and start creating them. You stop wishing for change and begin embodying it. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that whatever you can conceive and feel as true will eventually appear. The delay is not denial, it is gestation. Every thought you plant in the subconscious needs time to grow roots. Do not dig up your seeds with worry. Let them take root in faith. Keep watering them with gratitude, with visualization, with daily alignment. You do not need to force. You only need to feel. Dreams are the language of the divine mind. Every symbol, every image, every sensation in your dreams carries a message. When you dream of flying, your soul is remembering freedom. When you dream of water, your emotions are cleansing. When you dream of light, truth is being revealed. The more you honor your dreams, the clearer they become. Keep a journal by your bed. When you awaken, write what you remember. Those words are messages from your higher self, guiding you toward alignment. You were born to create. Every night when you close your eyes, you return to the workshop of the soul. Every morning when you awaken, you step into the manifestation of what you have built. When both worlds work together, the waking and the dreaming, your life begins to reflect the heaven within you. So tonight, when you lay your head on your pillow, do not sleep as a victim of life. Sleep as a creator of worlds. Whisper softly, "My dreams are divine instruction. My imagination is sacred. My thoughts are magnetic. What I feel, I attract. What I believe, I become." And when you awaken, know this: manifestation and lucid dreaming are not miracles reserved for the gifted. They are the natural abilities of a soul in alignment. You have always been creating. Now, you do it with awareness, with intention, with divine grace. Because the dream world and the waking world are not two. They are one. One energy, one law, one creator expressing through you. Healing is not a single moment. It is a rhythm. It is the soft, steady song that plays beneath the noise of life. The quiet returning of the soul to harmony. For so long, I thought healing meant the day the pain disappears, the day the past no longer hurts, the day everything feels new again. But I have learned that healing is not a finish line. It is a journey, a daily conversation with your spirit, a remembering of who you were before the world told you who to be. Every morning that you rise after a night of heaviness, you are healing. Every tear that falls instead of bitterness building, that is healing. Every breath that brings you back to peace after a storm of emotion, that is healing. It is not something that happens once and ends. It is something that unfolds softly, faithfully, in the background of your becoming. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Every disease has a mental correspondence, and to heal the body, one must first heal the thought. The body only echoes what the mind believes. When your mind is filled with fear, the body tenses. When your mind is filled with love, the body rests. Healing begins when you stop fighting what you feel and start understanding it. Emotions are not enemies, they are messengers. Pain is not punishment, it is revelation. It shows you where the light needs to enter. Healing happens when you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and begin asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every ache, every heartbreak, every loss carries a divine lesson wrapped in disguise. Sometimes the lesson is patience. Sometimes it is surrender. Sometimes it is forgiveness, not for them, but for yourself. Healing does not always look like perfection. Often, it looks like grace, quiet, unassuming, persistent grace. You do not need to be fully healed to be whole. You are already whole in spirit. Healing simply peels away the illusions that tell you otherwise. You were never broken, only covered by layers of fear, guilt, and unhealed memories. As you grow, those layers shed like old skin. Some days it is gentle, other days it hurts. But every shedding is sacred. The wound is not your weakness, it is the doorway through which light enters. When you allow yourself to rest, you are healing. When you forgive yourself for what you didn't know, you are healing. When you stop comparing your path to another's and honor your own pace, you are healing. Healing is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it is as quiet as choosing peace over argument, faith over fear, gratitude over regret. Florence taught that divine love dissolves everything unlike itself. That is what healing truly is, the return to love. Love is the great cleanser. Love is the ultimate medicine. When you fill your mind with loving thoughts, your body begins to respond. Cells repair faster. Energy flows more freely. Your heart opens again. You cannot rush love, and you cannot rush healing. Both move at the rhythm of grace. Some days you will feel like you've taken 10 steps forward, only to fall back into pain again. Do not despair. Healing moves in spirals, not straight lines. Each return to an old wound is an invitation to see it with more wisdom, to bless it with more light, to release it more deeply. You are not repeating the past. You are rising higher through it. The world teaches us to celebrate progress only when it's visible. When the wound is closed, the scar is gone, the smile has returned. But the divine sees healing in the unseen, in the courage it takes to face yourself, in the compassion it takes to forgive, in the faith it takes to keep believing in goodness when nothing makes sense. If your heart still hurts, it does not mean you've failed. It means you're still alive, still feeling, still growing. Healing is the soul's way of stretching, expanding your capacity to hold light. Each moment you choose love, you grow stronger. Each moment you choose to believe in goodness again, the divine rejoices. So let go of the pressure to be healed by now. You are not late. You are right on divine time. Every breath, every prayer, every act of gentleness toward yourself is part of the process. You do not need to chase healing. It is already chasing you. It finds you in rest, in nature, in sunlight, in stillness. It finds you when you stop running and simply allow yourself to be held. Say softly, I am healing in every moment. My body is healing. My mind is healing. My heart is healing. My soul is remembering its peace. Let those words settle into your being. Feel their truth. You are not waiting for healing. You are living it. For healing is not the end of your story. It is the beautiful thread that weaves it all together. Each day, the divine mends what was torn, so you can wear your light again. And when you look back one day, you'll see that every tear, every pause, every quiet night alone was not wasted. It was sacred. You were never broken. You were always becoming. There are things your eyes cannot see, but your soul can feel. The energy in a room before a word is spoken, the weight in the air when someone carries sadness, the warmth in your chest when love enters. This sensitivity is not imagination. It is intuition in motion. Energy is real, and your body is the instrument through which the universe speaks. You are made of energy. Every cell in your body vibrates with divine intelligence. Every thought, every emotion, every intention emits a frequency that fills the space around you. Florence Scovel Shinn said, every thought of hate, envy, fear, or worry impresses your body with a corresponding reaction. That means your energy field is not silent. It responds instantly to your inner world. You can tell when your vibration is high because you feel light, clear, and peaceful. You can tell when it's low because you feel heavy, anxious, or drained. Once you become aware of energy, life will never feel random again. You will start to notice how everything affects you. The people you talk to, the places you visit, the thoughts you think, the music you listen to, all of it carries vibration. You are constantly in exchange with the unseen. You breathe energy in, you send energy out. The way you maintain this flow determines how balanced your life feels. Have you ever entered a place that felt uncomfortable for no reason? That's energy. Have you ever met someone who instantly calmed your spirit? That's energy too. We speak of vibes without realizing how literal that is. Vibrations are frequencies of consciousness. Every person carries a unique energetic signature that your body can sense long before your mind can interpret. The divine designed you to be sensitive, not as a weakness, but as a compass. Your energy sensitivity is your built-in guidance system. When something feels off, that is your spirit whispering, "This is not aligned." When something feels expansive, that is your soul saying, "This is safe, this is right." Trust that voice. It is not fear, it is discernment. Your body is the most honest instrument you have. It will tell you the truth long before your logic catches up. When your stomach tightens, when your chest feels heavy, when your shoulders ache without reason, energy is speaking. The body absorbs what the spirit cannot express. That is why Florence Scovel Shinn taught, fear must be erased from the consciousness before true health can be realized. Fear lowers vibration. Love raises it. Gratitude purifies it. Awareness balances it. Energy moves through everything. It flows through your breath, your voice, your thoughts. When you speak with kindness, your words become medicine. When you think with anger, your thoughts become poison. Energy has direction. It either uplifts or depletes. You are the one who decides which it will be. If you want to raise your energy, begin with the simplest things. Step into sunlight and let the rays cleanse your aura. Walk barefoot on the earth and feel its pulse sync with yours. Breathe deeply and visualize golden light entering your crown and flowing through your body. Speak blessings over yourself and those around you. These small acts are sacred. They realign your frequency with divine order. You must also learn to protect your energy, not from fear but from love. Not everyone carries the same vibration, and that's all right. But you are responsible for the energy you allow into your field. Protect your peace as if it were treasure, because it is. When you feel drained after being around someone, don't judge them. Simply cleanse your energy. Visualize a waterfall of white light pouring over you, washing away what is not yours. Then speak this decree: only love lives in my field. Only light flows through my body. I am sealed in divine protection. As you grow spiritually, your sensitivity will heighten. You will sense when someone's smile hides sadness. You will feel the tension in silence. You will know when truth is being spoken and when it is not. This awareness is not meant to burden you. It is meant to empower you. You are becoming fluent in the language of energy, the oldest and purest language of the universe. Everything has energy. Words, thoughts, actions, even objects. That is why prayers linger in rooms, and love lingers in gifts. The energy of intention stays long after the form is gone. When you clean your home, speak light into the walls. When you cook, infuse your food with gratitude. When you rest, surround your bed with peace. You are not just living in a physical world, you are living in an energetic temple. Florence Scovel Shinn reminded us, when man is in tune with the infinite, he receives inspiration, which is intuition. When your energy is clear, you are in tune with the infinite. Inspiration flows easily. You attract what matches your frequency. Life begins to feel guided, effortless, alive. So listen to your body. It knows what your soul is trying to say. When you feel tired, rest. That's energy asking for renewal. When you feel drawn to nature, go. That's energy seeking balance. When you feel joy, stay there. That's energy aligning with love. You are a field of light wrapped in skin. You are vibration embodied. You are the living proof that energy is not just real, it is sacred. And the more you honor your energy, the more the universe honors you. There is a kind of healing no doctor can prescribe, no pill can contain, no remedy can replace. It is the healing that comes from joy, from love, from laughter, from the gentle act of being kind to yourself. Happiness and self, love are medicine. And when you learn to give them to yourself freely, your entire life begins to glow. For years, I searched for healing outside of me, through people, through achievement, through prayer that begged rather than believed. But the more I searched, the more I realized the cure was never out there. It was within. It was in how I spoke to myself, how I treated my own soul, how I allowed myself to rest, to receive, to be. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "No man is your friend, no man is your enemy, every man is your teacher." But she also said something deeper. Man's word is his wand. What you say about yourself, what you believe about yourself, is the spell that shapes your life. When you speak with love, your cells respond. When you affirm joy, your body heals. When you forgive yourself, your heart softens and begins to open again. Self-love is not vanity, it is sanity. It is the realization that you cannot pour from an empty vessel. You cannot shine light into the world if you are drowning in your own darkness. Loving yourself is not selfish, it is sacred. It is the first act of alignment with divine law. The commandment said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." But most people forget. You cannot love your neighbor if you have not yet learned to love yourself. Every harsh thought you think about yourself lowers your vibration. Every word of kindness raises it. Your body listens. Your soul listens. Even the universe listens. When you say, "I am unworthy," the world echoes it. When you say, "I am enough," creation rearranges itself to match your truth. You are speaking life or death into your own being every single day. So speak life. Speak love. Happiness, too, is medicine. Not the loud, performative kind that the world chases, but the quiet, steady happiness that comes from being at peace with yourself. Happiness is alignment. It is when your thoughts, your actions, and your spirit all move in the same direction. When you live truthfully, joy is the side effect. When you live from love, happiness becomes your default frequency. You do not have to wait for perfect circumstances to be happy. You can choose it right now, in this breath, in this moment. Happiness is not the result of everything being right. It is what makes everything right. It is a vibration that heals everything it touches. When you smile from your soul, your heart rate changes, your energy field brightens, your immune system strengthens. You literally begin to glow with divine electricity. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that there is no happiness where there is fear. Fear and faith cannot live in the same heart. When you choose love, fear dissolves. When you choose gratitude, lack disappears. When you choose happiness, you align with abundance. Because joy is the language of God, the vibration of creation itself. If you want to heal your life, begin by blessing yourself. Bless your mind for its effort to understand. Bless your heart for its courage to feel. Bless your body for carrying you through your days. Look into the mirror each morning and say, "I love you. I forgive you. I believe in you." These are not empty words. They are medicine to the soul. Each loving affirmation is a drop of light restoring balance where pain once lived. Do not postpone your joy until you reach a goal. Celebrate now, dance now, laugh now. Gratitude multiplies blessings. The universe expands wherever you express appreciation. When you laugh, angels rejoice. When you smile, your energy heals the space around you. The vibration of joy is contagious. It ripples outward and becomes a blessing for others too. Self-love is not only about words, it's about actions. It's about choosing rest over exhaustion, peace over pressure, nourishment over neglect. It's about saying no to what drains you and yes to what feeds your soul. It's about setting boundaries that protect your light and walking away from anything that dims it. You were not born to live in guilt or self-criticism. You were born to reflect divine love in human form. When you love yourself, you stop begging for love from others. You attract it naturally because love recognizes itself. When you live in joy, you stop chasing happiness. It finds you, it flows through you, it becomes you. And as Florence Scovel Shinn so beautifully taught, the game of life is a game of giving and receiving. When you give love to yourself, you become a magnet for every good thing. So, take a moment now. Place your hand over your heart and whisper, "I am my own medicine. I am my own light. I am whole. I am healed. I am loved." Feel the truth of it vibrate through your being. Happiness is healing. Self-love is restoration. Together, they are divine law in motion, the purest proof that God lives within you. And when you finally live from that truth, life itself becomes your prayer, and joy becomes your reward. And now, beloved, as we reach the end of these 9 sacred lessons, pause for a moment and breathe. Let everything you have heard settle, not only in your mind but in your soul. For these were never just words, they were reminders, gentle awakenings, the soul remembering itself. You have walked through the light of the sun, and you have felt its healing warmth. You have remembered that the same radiance that shines above also burns within you. You have learned that karma is not your enemy, but your teacher, returning to you only what you have sent, not to punish, but to perfect. You have breathed in prana, the life source of all creation, and you have understood that every inhale is God entering your body, every exhale a prayer of surrender. You have stood beneath the moon, and you have remembered her soft guidance, her invitation to listen to the unseen, to trust what cannot yet be explained. You have looked up at the stars and realized that everything is connected, that the same light that glows in the heavens flows in your veins. You have learned that the dream world and the waking world are not separate, that manifestation and lucid dreaming are not fantasies, but divine technologies of creation, proof that what you believe, you become. You have seen that healing is not a destination, but a rhythm, a sacred song that plays within you, even in silence. You have remembered that energy is real, that your body is not merely flesh but vibration, a temple of frequencies tuned to divine order. And finally, you have remembered that happiness and self-love are not luxuries, they are medicine. They are the highest vibrations of all, restoring everything that was once broken, returning every cell, every thought, every feeling to harmony. 9 lessons, 9 doors back to truth, each one a path to remembrance. That you are not lost, you were never separate, and you were never ordinary. You are divine consciousness having a human experience. You are the expression of God walking in skin, breathing light, speaking worlds into being. Look at how far you've come. Look at what you've remembered. The universe no longer feels distant. It feels alive, responsive, breathing with you. When you walk now, walk knowing that every step ripples through creation. When you speak, speak knowing that every word becomes energy that moves mountains. When you love, love knowing that your vibration heals far more than you will ever see. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for my great abundance. I am an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to me by divine right." That is not just a prayer. It is your truth. You are an irresistible magnet for everything that matches your light. What you seek is already seeking you. What you desire already exists in the field. Your only task is to stay aligned with it, in vibration, in belief, in faith. The sun will rise again tomorrow, and when it does, it will whisper the same message it whispers every morning: begin again. Begin with light in your mind. Begin with peace in your heart. Begin with gratitude that you are here alive, capable of love, capable of creation. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where the divine wants you to be, learning, growing, remembering. Everything that has happened in your life was designed to bring you back here, to this awareness, to this peace, to this power. So lift your face to the heavens and declare softly, I am one with divine mind. I am one with infinite supply. I am one with light, with life, with love. I am healed. I am whole. I am complete. And let those words vibrate through every cell of your being. Let them echo through time and space. Let them become the rhythm of your existence. Because the truth is simple, beloved, you are the miracle. You always were. The sun is your medicine. Karma is your teacher. Prana is your breath. The moon is your intuition. The universe is your mirror. Your dreams are your creations. Healing is your rhythm. Energy is your language. Love is your cure. You are surrounded by divine intelligence. You are guided by unseen hands. You are protected, provided for, and deeply loved. So go now, not as someone seeking light, but as light itself. Not as someone chasing blessings, but as the blessing. Not as someone hoping to be healed, but as one who already is. For in truth, the game is over the moment you remember who you are. You are one with God, and God is one with you. The law is working. The light is flowing. The love is eternal. And all is well. All is well.
There's a part of you that already knows the answer. It knows the way through the woods. It knows the next right step, and the one after that. It knows which door to open and which to leave closed. It knows the words to speak and the silence to hold. This part of you is ancient, wise, and infinitely patient. But this part of you does not shout. It whispers. It speaks in the language of feeling, of subtle knowing, of a quiet certainty that settles deep in your bones. a truth that needs no argument, no evidence, no defense. We have been taught to ignore this voice, to drown it out with the clamor of logic, the static of other people's opinions, the loud, panicked sirens of our fear. We have been trained to seek our guidance everywhere but within. We ask our friends, we poll our followers, we search for gurus, we read the books, we chase the signs, all while the truest compass we will ever own sits quietly inside of us, waiting to be heard, waiting to be trusted, waiting to guide you home to the abundance that is already yours by divine right. This is your intuition calling, and it is time to answer. The great spiritual teacher, Florence Scovel Shinn, spoke of this power with stunning clarity. She knew that what we call a hunch or a gut feeling is something far more profound. It is a direct line to infinite intelligence. She called it a spiritual faculty and said that it does not explain, but simply points the way. Read that again. Let it land. It does not explain, but simply points the way. This is the key. Your intuition is not your logical mind. It will not present you with a PowerPoint presentation, a list of pros and cons, or a 5-year plan. The mind is the servant. Its job is to analyze, to reason, to organize the details once the direction has been set. But it is a terrible master. Left in charge, the mind will run in circles, fueled by past evidence of lack and future projections of fear. It will keep you small because its primary function is to keep you safe, and to the mind, the unknown is always unsafe. Intuition, however, is the master. It is the voice of your superconscious mind, the part of you that is connected to the universal whole. It sees the entire chessboard. It knows the divine design of your life, the perfect unfolding pattern. It operates from a place of absolute truth and unconditional love. Its only job is to point, to nudge, to whisper, this way, not that way. This person, not that one. Wait. Go now. Your work is not to understand the entire journey. Your work is to trust the next step that is being pointed out to you. This is how you begin to partner with the unseen forces that are orchestrating your highest good. This is how you move from a life of frantic striving to a life of graceful receiving. This is how you allow abundance in all its forms to find you. Because abundance isn't something you have to chase. It is a river, and your intuition is the current. When you fight the current, you struggle, you tire, you go nowhere. When you surrender to it, when you trust its flow, it carries you effortlessly to the shores of your fulfilled desires. Think about your own life. Think of the times you felt that quiet, inner nudge. Perhaps it was in a career that looked perfect on paper. The salary was good, the title was respectable, your family was proud. But every Sunday night, a heavy dread would settle in your chest. Every morning, your body felt like lead. Your soul was slowly starving. Your mind would list all the logical reasons to stay, the security, the pension, the fear of starting over. It would shout, be grateful, this is a good job. But the whisper said, this is not your place. There is more for you. It didn't tell you what that more was. It didn't give you a business plan or a new job offer. It just pointed. It pointed toward the door. And ignoring that whisper felt like a slow death. It was a misalignment that no amount of money or external validation could soothe. The abundance you truly sought, the abundance of joy, of purpose, of vitality, was waiting on the other side of trusting that quiet, illogical guidance. Or think about a relationship. Maybe you met someone and everyone loved them. Your friend said, he's perfect. Your family was charmed. He said all the right things. But when you were with him, something in you subtly recoiled. A quiet alarm bell, soft but persistent, would ring in your spirit. You couldn't put your finger on it. You had no proof. So you told yourself you were being crazy, too picky, sabotaging a good thing. You let the loud voices of logic and external approval override the deep. Finding yours, destiny, happiness, joy. 1 point, cellular knowing in your body. And later, when the truth was revealed, when the red flags you couldn't name became actions you couldn't ignore, you looked back and you knew. I knew. That feeling was real. That whisper was your protector. It was your guide. It was pointing you away from heartache and toward the path of genuine, reciprocal love. It was saving your precious energy for the person who aligns with your soul's truth. This same guidance system operates constantly in the realm of financial abundance. It doesn't always show up as a hot stock tip or a winning lottery number. It is far more elegant, more integrated into the fabric of your life. It's the sudden, unexplainable urge to walk into a bookstore you've passed 1,000 times, only to find a book that sparks the business idea you've been waiting for. It's the quiet nudge to finally reach out to an old acquaintance who just happens to be looking for someone with your exact skills for a lucrative project. It's the feeling that you should take a different route home from work, where you drive past a for rent sign on the perfect apartment you've been trying to manifest, at a price you can afford. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man's dreary desires are answered drearily, and his impatient desires, long delayed or violently fulfilled." The universe is not a vending machine. It is a dance partner. Your intuition is how you hear the music. When you follow its lead, you move in harmony with the rhythm of grace. The opportunities, the people, the resources, they don't come to you through force. They are revealed by you through your alignment. You are guided to the place where they already are. Your intuition is the unseen bridge between your current reality and the abundant reality that is waiting for you. The only toll required to cross it is your trust. Now, here is the most important thing you will hear today. A truth so profound, it has the power to shift everything for you in an instant. You are not learning a new skill. You are remembering an ancient one. You are not trying to get intuition. You already have it. You have been using this spiritual law your entire life, whether you were conscious of it or not. Every single outcome in your life is a testament to what you have believed, what you have felt, and which voice you chose to obey. The times you ignored the whisper and walked into a situation that drained you, you were proving to yourself the power of your intuition by demonstrating the pain of its absence. That was a lesson, not a failure. It was the universe lovingly showing you, see, your inner guidance was trying to protect you. It was trying to lead you toward joy. The times you felt that inner yes and took a small leap of faith, and it led to something wonderful, a new friendship, a moment of synchronicity, a creative breakthrough, that was the universe showing you, see, when you trust, I can work with you. I can bring you miracles. This is not about blame. It's about reclamation. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are, and have always been, a powerful creator standing at a constant fork in the road. In every moment, you have a choice: to listen to the loud, frantic voice of fear, or to tune into the calm, clear, steady signal of your soul. Think of it like a radio. Your soul's station is always broadcasting a signal of love, abundance, and perfect guidance. It's a clear, beautiful frequency. But for years, you may have had the dial tuned to the static of the world, the station of doubt, the station of others' expectations, the station of the ego's endless chatter. Your work is not to build a new radio. It is simply to turn the dial, to consciously, deliberately, choose to tune back into your own frequency. The signal has never, ever stopped. You just stopped listening for it. Today, you reclaim your power by choosing to listen again. So how do we begin? How do we turn down the volume of the world and tune into the wisdom within? We begin with gentleness, with reverence, with small, sacred acts of trust. This is not another thing to add to your to-do list. This is an undoing, a releasing, a coming home. Here are 3 simple sacred steps to begin cultivating your intuitive power today. First, the sacred pause. Before you react to an email, before you answer that difficult question, before you make a decision, big or small, stop, just for a moment. Close your eyes if you can. Take one deep, conscious breath. Inhale through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. This simple act creates a space. It is a holy intermission between the world's demand and your response. In that space, the whisper has a chance to be heard. You are signaling to the universe and to yourself, I am available for my inner guidance. Second, the gentle inquiry. In that sacred pause, instead of asking your mind, what should I do? Ask your body, your heart, your soul a different question. Ask, what is the feeling of truth here? Or, show me the next right feeling. Or simply, what does love advise? Notice the shift. You are moving out of the head and into the heart. You are not looking for a logical answer, but for a feeling, a resonance. Does the thought of saying yes make your body feel expansive, light, and open? Or does it make you feel contracted, heavy, and tight? Your body is an infallible instrument of truth. It cannot lie. Learn to listen to its subtle language. It is your intuition made manifest in your cells. Third, the act of trust. This is where the magic happens. You must act on the guidance you receive, especially when it feels small and illogical. Start small to build the muscle of trust. If you get a nudge to call a friend you haven't spoken to in months, make the call. If you feel the pull to take a walk in the park instead of scrolling on your phone, put on your shoes and go. If you feel an inner no to an invitation, honor it without needing to over-explain or justify it. Every time you honor a whisper, you are casting a vote for your own inner authority. You are telling the universe, I am listening, I am trusting, I am ready to be guided. And the universe will respond by sending you clearer signals and more magnificent opportunities to be guided. And as you practice this, speak these truths over yourself. Let these affirmations rewire the circuits of your mind and attune your spirit to the frequency of your intuition. Say them in the morning. Say them in the quiet moments. My inner hearing is divinely sharp. I hear the voice of intuition and I obey its call. I am now on the divine path of my abundance. Every intuitive nudge leads me to my highest good. The divine plan of my life unfolds now, step by perfect step. I do not need to see the whole staircase. I only need to trust the next step. A word of encouragement for the journey. When you first begin to consciously follow this inner guidance, it may feel uncomfortable. The ego, your old master, will not go quietly. It will throw a tantrum. It will bring up all your past failures. It will scream about risk and responsibility and what other people will think. This is a powerful sign. It means you are succeeding. When the old patterns of thought fight back, it's because they feel their powers slipping away. You are flipping a master circuit in your mind. You are weeding the garden of your consciousness to make room for new, beautiful things to grow. It is okay if it feels messy at first. It is okay if the outer world doesn't change overnight. You are planting seeds in new soil. There's a period of germination that happens in the dark, beneath the surface. The most profound work is being done within you. The internal alignment must happen first. The outer world is simply a mirror, and it will take a moment for the reflection to catch up to the new reality you are creating inside. Do not be discouraged by the silence. Do not be discouraged by the resistance. It is the darkness before the dawn. It is the quiet before the symphony begins. Trust the process. Your only job is to keep tuning your ear to the whisper. Keep honoring the nudge. Keep choosing the feeling of truth over the argument of fear. You see, you are not broken. You are not lost. You were never disconnected from your source of wisdom and abundance. You were simply taught to look in the wrong direction. Today, you turn back around. You turn your gaze inward, not with judgment for all the times you didn't listen, but with profound love and compassion for the woman who is ready to listen now. You are simply remembering the truth of who you are, a divine being, equipped with a perfect inner guidance system designed to lead you step by step into a life of joy, purpose, and limitless abundance. The power was never out there. It was always in you. The choice is yours in this moment and every moment that follows. Will you continue to live by the noisy chaos of the outer world? Or will you choose to live by the deep, resonant, loving wisdom of your own soul? Leave a comment below and declare your choice. Declare, "My intuition is my guide." Let it be your anchor, your commitment, your truth. And now, take a breath. In the quiet space behind these words, what is your intuition whispering to you right now?
Imagine for a moment that the universe is not just a collection of stars, planets, and endless space. No, it is something far greater, far more magnificent. It is a living, breathing entity, waiting, always waiting, to respond to your thoughts, your beliefs, your deepest desires. You are not a passive being in this vast world. You are the creator of your own reality. The power to shape your world lies within you, and it has always been there, just waiting to be unlocked. Now let us awaken to the truth of who we truly are. You are a divine being, made in the image of the Creator, endowed with boundless potential. Your thoughts are not mere fleeting ideas. They are the blueprints of your destiny. Every word you speak, every feeling you harbor, is an affirmation, a manifestation in the making. And this, my friends, is the sacred law of life. Said it so beautifully. The subconscious mind is the connecting link between the conscious mind and the infinite, and the great law of attraction operates through it. This is the secret. The law of attraction is not a far-off mystery. It is the very law that governs your life. The invisible force that responds to your every thought. What you think, you draw. What you believe, you receive. So take a moment now, as you sit in this space, to tune into the voice of your soul. Close your eyes if you can, and let go of the doubts and fears that have held you back. You were not born to live a life of limitation. You were born to create, to manifest, to align with the divine power that flows through you. Speak your desires as though they have already been fulfilled. See them, feel them, and trust that the universe is conspiring in your favor. The divine spirit within you is not waiting for permission. It is only waiting for your decision to align with its infinite power. Right now, you can make that decision. Right now, you can choose to step into the flow of divine abundance, divine love, and divine wisdom. Remember, you are a vessel of the divine. Your thoughts shape the reality around you. The universe is not indifferent to your needs. It is your co-creator, ready to respond to your every word, your every belief, your every prayer. So speak your desires with power, with clarity, and with faith. Because when you align yourself with the divine, there is nothing that can stop you, absolutely nothing. The universe, in its vastness, is not just a collection of stars, planets, and galaxies. It is far more than the physical world we see with our eyes. It is a living, breathing force that responds to every vibration of energy we send out. We are not isolated beings. We are deeply interconnected with this great force, and it is through our thoughts, our emotions, and our intentions that we shape the very fabric of our reality. The energy that flows through us is the same energy that flows through the cosmos, creating and sustaining everything that exists. This is not merely an abstract idea, it is a profound truth that has been acknowledged by sages, philosophers, and spiritual teachers throughout history. The law of attraction which governs the universe is not just a theory, it is a living, breathing principle that is constantly at work in every moment, whether we are aware of it or not. Just as gravity pulls everything to the ground, the law of attraction pulls thoughts, feelings, and beliefs into our lives, shaping our experiences in ways both subtle and dramatic. The more we tune into this law, the more we recognize that our reality is not a series of random events, it is the direct result of the vibrations we emit. Our minds, especially our subconscious minds, are like antennas picking up on the frequencies of the universe. What we focus on, our dominant thoughts, our desires, our beliefs, becomes the frequency we tune into. The universe responds in kind. If our thoughts are full of doubt, fear, or negativity, we attract more of that energy into our lives. But when we shift our focus to positivity, faith, and love, we begin to align with the abundant energy of the universe. Every moment we spend thinking about what we don't want is a moment spent reinforcing that energy in our lives. Every moment spent envisioning our dreams, our highest desires, and the limitless possibilities of the universe is a moment spent inviting more of that energy into our reality. We are not passive observers of the world around us. We are active participants in the creation of our lives. Our minds are powerful tools that can shape our experiences, and yet many of us are unaware of just how much power we possess. We often find ourselves caught in the routine of daily life, unaware that every thought we have, every belief we hold, and every word we speak is like a brushstroke painting the picture of our future. The universe is not indifferent to our needs, desires, or dreams. It is always responding to us, always listening, always reflecting back to us exactly what we focus on. This connection between us and the universe is sacred and divine. It is a relationship that we are constantly nurturing, whether we realize it or not. When we align our thoughts, words, and actions with our highest purpose, with our deepest desires, we begin to tap into the limitless potential that resides within us. It is not a distant, unreachable power, it is a force that is already flowing through us, waiting to be recognized and harnessed. The universe is alive, it is aware, and it is waiting for us to step into our full power. We are not small, insignificant beings in this vast world. We are co-creators of our reality, with the ability to shape our lives with every thought, every feeling, and every intention we send out. The world around us is simply a mirror reflecting back the energy we put into it. And when we understand this, when we recognize the true power we possess, we begin to see that there are no limits to what we can manifest. You are a divine being, created in the image of the Creator, with a spark of the same boundless energy that flows through the entire universe. Every cell in your body, every breath you take, is a testament to the divine intelligence that guides the cosmos. When you look at yourself, do you see that power? Do you recognize the infinite potential within you? Too often we forget that we are connected to something much greater than ourselves. We get caught up in the noise of the world, the limitations of our circumstances, and the doubts that cloud our vision. Yet, within you is a force more powerful than you can imagine. A force that can move mountains, shift realities, and manifest dreams into existence. The divine energy within you is not separate from the energy that creates and sustains the stars, the oceans, and the endless galaxies. It is one and the same. You are not a passive being in this vast universe. You are an integral part of its fabric. This divine energy is not distant or unreachable. It is alive within you, constantly flowing, constantly responding to the thoughts, beliefs, and emotions you cultivate. This is the essence of manifestation. To manifest is not to summon something from a far-off place. It is to align with the divine energy already within you and allow it to express itself fully in your life. When you begin to realize this truth, everything changes. You are no longer confined by the limitations of the physical world. You no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstance, but as a co-creator with the universe, shaping your reality with every thought and intention. Your mind, heart, and soul are powerful tools that can direct this divine energy toward the manifestation of your desires. And this energy responds to you, not only in the big things, but in the smallest details of your life. What you focus on, what you give your attention to, expands. When you align your thoughts with love, abundance, and possibility, the universe begins to bring these things into your life in ways you cannot even imagine. This connection to the divine is not just a lofty concept, it is a practical reality that governs the way we experience life. The more you recognize this truth, the more you begin to see how the universe is constantly responding to you, how it is always reflecting back your inner state. If you want to experience abundance, peace, and joy, you must first align your inner world with these qualities. The universe cannot give you what you do not believe you deserve. But when you believe in your divine nature, when you recognize your inherent worth and power, you open the floodgates for the universe to deliver your desires. This is the true essence of manifestation. It is not about striving, chasing, or forcing. It is about aligning yourself with the divine energy within and allowing it to work through you. You are the vessel, and the universe is the river of energy that flows through you, guiding you to your highest good. When you surrender to this flow, when you trust in the divine wisdom that resides within you, you begin to witness the miraculous unfold in your life. It is not about pushing or striving harder. It is about relaxing into your divine nature, knowing that you are a part of something much larger than yourself. Your dreams are not far off. They are already within you, waiting to be birthed into your reality. All you have to do is remember your true power and allow it to manifest. The subconscious mind is a bridge, a powerful and mysterious link that connects the conscious mind to the vast, infinite wisdom of the universe. It is like the unseen hand that guides the flow of the river, directing the water without anyone noticing the force behind it. Most of us are only aware of the conscious mind, the part of us that makes decisions, that thinks, reasons, and analyzes. But the real power lies in the subconscious. It is the silent creator of our reality, the force that shapes the world around us based on the beliefs, emotions, and thoughts we have stored within it. The subconscious is not just a passive recorder of events. It is a dynamic force that reacts to every thought, every belief, and every feeling we entertain. The patterns we hold in our subconscious mind become the foundation upon which we build our lives. Every belief you hold about yourself, about the world, and about what is possible, is embedded within the subconscious, and it is this energy that shapes the outcomes you experience. If you believe that abundance is possible for you, that belief will guide you toward experiences that match that energy. If you carry the belief that you are not deserving, the universe will reflect that back to you. What many do not realize is that the subconscious mind is not limited by logic or reason. It does not question your beliefs. It simply accepts them as truth. This is why it is so powerful in manifestation. The universe does not discern between what is real or imagined. It only responds to the energy you send out. The subconscious mind, like a fertile field, is constantly planting seeds. Every thought you think is a seed, and these seeds grow into your reality. This is where the power of conscious thought comes into play. By being intentional with your thoughts, by choosing to focus on what you desire rather than on what you fear or lack, you begin to plant seeds that will blossom into the life you dream of. When you begin to understand the immense power of the subconscious mind, you also begin to realize that you are the master of your own creation. Your external reality is simply a reflection of the internal beliefs you hold within you. So, if you want to change your life, you must first change your inner world. This is where manifestation begins, not with the physical world, but with the energy you are cultivating within your subconscious. The more you believe in the infinite possibilities available to you, the more your subconscious mind aligns with that belief and begins to create experiences that reflect that truth. This process of manifestation is not something you need to force or strive for. It is an effortless flow that occurs when you allow yourself to align with your divine truth. As you shift your thoughts, you shift your energy, and as your energy shifts, the universe begins to mirror back the opportunities, people, and experiences that match your inner state. You are constantly programming your subconscious with your beliefs. The universe is merely responding to the vibrations you emit. The key to unlocking your power is to become aware of your inner programming and to consciously choose the beliefs and thoughts that serve your highest good. As you cultivate a mindset of abundance, love, and possibility, your subconscious begins to align with these higher frequencies. When you embrace the truth that you are deserving of all the good the universe has to offer, your subconscious begins to manifest those truths in your reality. The more you feed your subconscious mind with thoughts of love, success, and abundance, the more these energies begin to flow into your life, without effort, without struggle. The universe is constantly working with you, guided by the thoughts you plant within your subconscious. Through this powerful connection, you become the creator of your own reality, effortlessly manifesting your desires by simply aligning your thoughts with your highest truth. The law of attraction is a universal force, ever present, always working, and inescapable. It is not a distant, abstract concept that only a few fortunate souls can access. It is the very essence of how the universe operates. The energy you send out, whether consciously or subconsciously, is always returned to you in kind. What you think, what you feel, what you believe, these are the vibrations you emit into the world, and the universe simply responds to that frequency. There is no judgment from the universe. It merely reflects back the energy you put into it. This is the law of attraction at work. Manifestation is not about forcing outcomes or desperately trying to make things happen. It is about aligning your inner state, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with the desires you wish to manifest. The universe cannot give you what you do not believe you are worthy of receiving. If you hold beliefs that you are undeserving, the universe will match that frequency and reflect it in your life. But when you raise your vibration to one of abundance, love, and possibility, the universe begins to align with that higher frequency and brings experiences, people, and opportunities that resonate with that energy. This is not magic or coincidence. It is the law of attraction in its purest and most spiritual form. The key to understanding the law of attraction is to recognize that everything in the universe is energy, and everything vibrates at a certain frequency. You are no different. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs all carry a frequency, and when you consistently align your inner world with the energy of your desires, you begin to pull those desires into your reality. It is not enough to simply wish for something. You must feel as though it is already yours. Your emotions are a powerful tool in this process. The more you can feel the joy, excitement, and gratitude of your desires already manifesting, the more you amplify the energy of those desires, and the quicker the universe responds. The law of attraction is not a one-time event or a quick fix. It is a continuous process of becoming one with the energy of your desires. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take should align with what you want to attract. If your thoughts are full of fear, doubt, or lack, the universe will bring you experiences that match that energy. If you consistently focus on abundance, love, and gratitude, you will begin to notice how these things start to flow into your life. It is a constant reflection of your inner state, of the vibration you are putting out into the world. The universe responds to you constantly, and it does not matter whether your desires are big or small. It does not judge your desires. It simply responds to the energy you project. If you desire financial abundance, love, health, or success, the law of attraction will bring those desires into your life, but only when you align with the frequency of those desires. This alignment is about more than just wishing for things. It is about embodying the feelings, thoughts, and beliefs that align with your desires. When you do this, the universe has no choice but to respond in kind, delivering the opportunities and experiences that match your energetic vibration. Your desires are not separate from you. They are already within you, waiting to be brought into existence. The law of attraction is not about trying to attract things from the outside world. It is about realizing that everything you desire is already within you. When you align with your highest potential and open yourself to receive, the universe responds by bringing those desires into your life. The law of attraction is not something you have to chase. It is something you attract by being in alignment with your divine energy and trusting that the universe is always working in your favor. To truly understand and harness the power within us, we must first tune in to the divine energy that flows through every part of our being. You are not just a physical entity moving through life, unaware of the immense power that resides within you. You are a divine vessel, capable of creating and manifesting the life you desire, for you are not separate from the universe. You are an integral part of it. The energy that moves through the stars, through the oceans, and through the winds also flows within you. This connection to the divine, to the infinite wisdom that governs the cosmos, is always present, but it is up to you to acknowledge it, to align yourself with it, and to allow it to guide you. As you begin to align with your divine nature, you step into a higher frequency of being. This is not about striving, forcing, or struggling to create your reality. It is about letting go of resistance and trusting that you are worthy of the life you desire. Your true power lies not in your ability to control every aspect of your life, but in your ability to trust the flow of divine energy that is already guiding you. When you surrender to this flow, you allow the universe to work with you, not against you. You stop fighting your circumstances and begin to align yourself with the abundance, love, and possibilities that are always available to you. The more you trust in your divine nature, the more you step into alignment with your soul's purpose. Each thought, each feeling, each intention you hold is a magnetic force that draws experiences to you. And when you align yourself with your highest self, you begin to create from a place of deep inner knowing, from a space where you are no longer influenced by fear, doubt, or lack. Instead, you are creating from a space of abundance, from the knowing that you are connected to an endless source of divine energy that is always ready to respond to your highest desires. When you align with this energy, you begin to see how the universe works in perfect harmony with your intentions. Opportunities appear when you least expect them, and people come into your life who reflect the energy you are putting out. It is not by coincidence that the universe brings you what you desire. It is the result of your alignment with your divine essence. You are constantly emitting a frequency, whether you realize it or not, and the universe simply responds to that frequency. This is the law of attraction in action. When you are aligned with the energy of your desires, the universe has no choice but to bring those desires into your life. Alignment is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing process of tuning into your highest self and allowing that energy to guide you in every aspect of your life. As you continue to deepen your connection with your divine nature, you begin to notice how your external reality begins to mirror your internal state. When you are aligned with the divine, everything around you begins to reflect that energy, bringing you experiences, people, and opportunities that match your vibration. You begin to manifest not just your desires, but your highest potential, for you are no longer limited by the beliefs or fears that once held you back. This process of alignment is not about seeking external validation or striving for something outside of yourself. It is about remembering the truth of who you are, that you are a divine being with the power to create your reality. When you align with your true nature, you step into the flow of divine energy, and in this flow there are no limits. You are free to create, to manifest, and to live in the abundance that is your birthright. The universe is always conspiring in your favor, but it is up to you to trust in that divine connection and allow it to guide you toward the life you were meant to live. When we speak, we are not just expressing words, we are sending out vibrations into the universe, and the universe in turn responds to those vibrations. Every word you utter carries energy, and that energy is a reflection of your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. You must understand that the words you speak are powerful creators of your reality. They are not simply sounds, they are seeds that will eventually manifest in your life. The universe does not differentiate between positive or negative words. It simply responds to the energy that is behind them. Manifestation begins the moment you speak your desires into existence. But simply speaking without belief or alignment with your heart's true desire will not bring the manifestations you seek. When you speak with confidence, with clarity, and with the unwavering belief that what you say is already yours, you align with the very fabric of the universe. Your words then become a force that draws your desires into your reality. This power of words goes beyond the material realm. Words are a bridge between the seen and the unseen. When you speak from a place of deep knowing, when you speak in alignment with your soul's true essence, you are tapping into the divine energy of creation itself. You are affirming not just your desires, but the truth of your divine nature. The universe responds to this truth. It does not respond to the doubts, fears, or insecurities that may linger in your subconscious. It responds to your inner knowing, your deep belief in your worthiness, and your connection to the divine source. When you speak your desires, you are not asking the universe for permission. You are claiming what is already yours. Your desires are not separate from you. They are part of you, already embedded in your soul's blueprint. The moment you speak them aloud, you are simply acknowledging their existence and welcoming them into your life. Your words act as a catalyst, setting the wheels of manifestation into motion. The universe listens not just to the literal meaning of your words, but to the energy behind them. When your words are infused with faith, belief, and love, they become powerful magnets that attract your desires toward you. This is why it is so important to speak your desires with intention. Do not speak from a place of lack or desperation, but from a place of already having. Speak as though what you desire is already in your life. Feel the emotions of gratitude, excitement, and joy, as if your desires have already manifested. When you speak with this kind of energy, you align yourself with the frequency of the universe, and the universe has no choice but to respond with the experiences, opportunities, and people that match that frequency. Affirmations are a powerful tool in this process. Repeating affirmations that are aligned with your desires and the life you want to create helps to reprogram your subconscious mind and strengthen your connection to the divine. Each time you speak your affirmations with belief and passion, you reinforce your intention and draw your desires closer to you. But remember, it is not just about repeating words mindlessly. It is about truly feeling and embodying the energy behind them. The universe is constantly responding to you, and the energy you put out with your words is a direct reflection of your inner state. When you speak with confidence, clarity, and belief, you are sending a powerful message to the universe that you are ready to receive. You are not merely asking for what you want, you are claiming it, and in doing so you open the door to its manifestation. The more you speak in alignment with your desires, the more the universe begins to respond in kind, bringing you everything you have already claimed. Your words are your power. They are the key to unlocking the door to your dreams. Speak with intention and the universe will bring those dreams to life. The universe is not a distant entity separate from you. It is an ever-present, all-encompassing force that responds to the energy you put out into the world. This divine spirit, this infinite intelligence, is your co-creator in the dance of life. You are not alone in this journey. You are always being guided, always being supported by the universe. Yet so often we forget this truth, and we feel disconnected or separate from the very force that is responsible for our existence. But the truth is that the universe is always working in your favor, constantly responding to your thoughts, beliefs, and desires. It is not distant or indifferent. It is an active participant in the creation of your reality, constantly conspiring to bring your dreams to life. When you align with this divine energy, when you consciously choose to cooperate with the universe, you step into a space of co-creation. The universe is not forcing anything upon you. It is waiting for you to recognize your own power, to align with your highest truth, and to step into the flow of divine abundance that is always available to you. It is not about controlling every aspect of your life or manipulating circumstances to your advantage. It is about allowing yourself to surrender to the divine guidance that is already available to you. The more you trust in this process, the more you will see how the universe begins to move in alignment with your desires. You are not just a passive recipient of the world around you. You are an active participant, a powerful creator. The universe responds to your energy, your vibration, and it mirrors back to you what you believe to be true. When you align with the energy of love, abundance, and possibility, the universe has no choice but to bring you experiences, people, and opportunities that reflect that energy. But when you are in a state of fear, doubt, or lack, the universe responds in kind. It is not judging you or deciding what you deserve. It is simply reflecting your inner world back to you, giving you exactly what you believe you are worthy of. This divine connection is not just an abstract concept. It is a living, breathing relationship that you are constantly nurturing. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every emotion you feel is a prayer to the universe, and the universe responds to those prayers. The more you consciously choose to align your thoughts and emotions with the energy of your desires, the more the universe begins to reflect those desires in your life. You are the one who sets the tone for the universe to respond to, and when you align with your highest good, when you trust that the universe is always guiding you toward your divine purpose, you begin to experience life as a co-creation, a divine partnership. Manifestation is not about striving, forcing, or trying to control every aspect of your life. It is about surrendering to the divine flow of the universe and allowing it to work with you, not against you. The universe is always ready to respond to your desires, but it is your responsibility to align with that energy, to trust the process, and to allow yourself to receive. You are never alone in this journey. The universe is always working on your behalf, always guiding you, always helping you bring your dreams into reality. The key is to trust that divine process, to have faith that the universe is always conspiring in your favor, and to allow yourself to step into the flow of abundance, love, and limitless possibilities. The energy of your thoughts and emotions shapes the world around you, influencing every interaction, every situation, and every opportunity that comes into your life. As you navigate through this life, you may begin to notice how your circumstances are a direct reflection of your inner state. The more you focus on the positive, on love, abundance, and possibility, the more you begin to attract these qualities into your reality. The universe does not work in a linear, logical way. It operates through energy, through vibrations, and your feelings are the key to unlocking the door to your desires. When you embrace this truth, you begin to understand that everything you experience, whether it be joyous or challenging, is a direct result of the energy you are putting out into the world. What you believe you are worthy of receiving is what the universe will provide. The law of attraction is always in motion, working tirelessly to bring you what matches the frequency of your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. If your inner world is filled with doubt, fear, or scarcity, the universe will mirror that energy back to you. But when you align with the energy of abundance, trust, and divine love, you begin to experience the flow of these energies in your life. The world around you shifts as you shift internally, and opportunities begin to appear as if by magic. This is not a coincidence. This is the manifestation of the universe responding to the vibration you are sending out. But it is not enough to simply think about what you desire. You must truly feel the energy of it. The universe responds to the vibration of your emotions. When you can feel gratitude for the blessings you already have and excitement for the things you are about to receive, you align yourself with the divine flow of abundance. Your emotions are the language the universe understands, and when you send out emotions of love, joy, and excitement, you signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. The more you embody these emotions, the more the universe will bring experiences and people that reflect that high vibrational energy. Manifestation is not about forcing or struggling to make things happen. It is about aligning your energy with the divine flow and allowing things to unfold naturally. The universe is always guiding you, always responding to the energy you put out. When you are in alignment with your desires, when your thoughts and feelings are in harmony with the life you want to create, the universe has no choice but to respond. Opportunities flow to you effortlessly. People appear in your life who are aligned with your mission, and synchronicities occur to help you move closer to your goals. It is all about becoming a vibrational match for your desires. It is important to recognize that this process of manifestation is continuous. It is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing practice of choosing to align with your highest good every moment. Your emotions are constantly shifting, but when you make a conscious effort to stay connected to the energy of love, abundance, and joy, you are constantly inviting more of those energies into your life. The universe will always respond to your vibration, so it is essential to stay mindful of the energy you are putting out. By doing so, you ensure that the universe will continue to reflect back to you the experiences, people, and opportunities that align with your highest desires. As you embrace the spiritual truth that your thoughts and emotions create your reality, you become more empowered in your ability to manifest the life you desire. The universe is always working with you, always reflecting your inner state back to you. The more you choose to align with the energy of your highest self, the more you will begin to see the abundant flow of life responding to your energy. This is the law of attraction in action. When you align with love, abundance, and possibility, You open the door to a life filled with the experiences you have always dreamed of. As you step into the fullness of your divine power, remember this truth: you are a co-creator with the universe, and everything you desire is already within your reach. The energy you send out into the world is a direct reflection of the life you will manifest. You are not a passive observer in this life. You are the creator of your own reality. The universe is always listening, always responding, always aligning itself with the frequency you choose to emit. So choose wisely. Choose to believe in your worth. Choose to align with love, abundance, and possibility. Know that the power to shape your life lies within you, and the universe is ready to bring your dreams to life. Trust in the process. Surrender to the flow and allow the divine energy within you to guide you toward the life you were born to live. The universe is always conspiring in your favor, and when you align yourself with this truth, there is nothing you cannot manifest. Your desires are not far away. They are already on their way, simply waiting for you to open the door. So step forward. Speak your truth and trust in the divine process of manifestation, for it is already unfolding in your favor.
The game of life is a game of choices. To be smart, not stupid, is not simply a matter of intellect, but of spiritual alignment, mental clarity, and intuitive grace. Many imagine that intelligence comes from books, degrees, or clever speech. But true smartness is divine wisdom in action. It is knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. It is choosing peace over pride, purpose over popularity, clarity over chaos. A smart person listens not only with their ears but with their inner guidance. They do not jump to conclusions, nor do they make decisions based on fear, ego, or anxiety. Instead, they tune into that quiet, knowing voice within that always speaks first, softly, but clearly. The smart person trusts this voice. They know that intuition is the wireless connection to the infinite intelligence, and when we are still, it speaks. To be smart is to understand the law, not just the law of man, but the higher laws: the law of attraction, the law of karma, the law of expectancy, the law of non-resistance. The stupid person fights against life. They complain, they doubt, they try to make things happen. The smart person allows. They speak their word and know it is done. They do not beg life for blessings, they claim them. A smart person blesses their enemies and praises their friends. They do not waste energy on gossip, arguments, or proving a point. For they understand that whatever they fight, they energize, and whatever they resist, persists. Instead of reacting, they respond. Instead of judging, they observe. Instead of worrying, they affirm. And oh, how powerful are their words! The smart person knows the tongue is a mighty sword. They do not speak of lack, failure, or sickness. They say, I am guided, I am protected, I am divinely led, even when appearances shout otherwise. They remain unmoved, rooted in truth, anchored in faith. The smart person is not swayed by the chaos of the world, for their kingdom is not of this world. They know that the outer is but a mirror of the inner, and so they clean their inner house daily, sweeping away resentment, dusting off doubt, polishing faith. Their mind becomes a clear channel through which divine ideas flow freely. New doors open, right people appear. Solutions drop like ripe fruit from the invisible tree. To be smart is to align with the rhythm of the universe. To walk by faith, not by sight. To let go quickly, forgive easily, and expect miracles as the natural order of things. The smart person does not strive, they glide. They do not hustle, they magnetize. They are not arrogant, but humble in the power they carry. They know they are not the source, but the vessel. So we must choose. Will we be smart or stupid? Will we fight the current or float downstream with grace? Will we speak fear or declare faith? Will we react with ego or respond with wisdom? Trust your intuition over impulsive reactions. This is not merely a suggestion,
but a spiritual commandment for the one who desires to live wisely and walk in alignment with higher truth. Intuition is the language of the soul. It is the voice of infinite intelligence that speaks within every man, woman, and child. It is quiet, calm, and certain, never rushed, never fearful. It arrives not in panic but in peace. It whispers, while the world shouts. It nudges, while the ego pushes. Intuition is always first to speak, but last to be heard, because most people are not listening. To trust your intuition is to rise above the clamor of the outer world. It is to shut the door on panic, fear, and noise and enter the secret chamber of the heart, where the still small voice gives perfect direction. That voice is never wrong. It does not rationalize, it does not argue, it simply knows. And if followed, it will always lead to right action. Divine timing, perfect outcomes. Most people are ruled not by intuition but by impulse. They make decisions based on fear, emotion, or urgency. They feel pressured, pushed, cornered, and they react. They shout when they should be silent. They run when they should wait. They speak when they should listen. The world has glorified speed, but speed without wisdom is destruction. The smart person knows this. They pause. They listen, they ask, "What does my spirit say?" And they wait for the answer to rise, not from the intellect, not from the emotions, but from the deep well of inner knowing. Impulse is the child of the ego. It is impatient, aggressive, and loud. It loves to jump to conclusions. It seeks drama, control, and instant gratification. It is always in a rush, it hates to wait. Impulse says, "Do it now, or lose your chance." Intuition says, "Wait until you're sure." Impulse screams, "Something is wrong." Intuition calmly says, "All is well." One creates chaos, the other creates peace. People often say, "I knew I shouldn't have done it. I had a feeling." That feeling was intuition. But they ignored it because it was quiet. They ignored it because it didn't explain itself. Intuition does not provide long arguments or charts or step-by-step logic. It simply gives a sense, a nudge, a knowing, a feeling of either peace or resistance. And if that feeling of resistance is ignored, the price is always paid. The smart person learns to recognize the tone of that voice. They learn the texture of true guidance. They train their spiritual ears to discern between the clatter of emotion and the clarity of intuition. They understand that intuition is not emotion. Emotion is reactive, unstable, and dependent on external conditions. Intuition is steady, objective, and comes from a higher plane. A decision made in high emotion is rarely wise. A decision made in alignment with intuition is always right, even if it doesn't make sense in the moment. The ego wants to be clever, to control, to dominate. Intuition simply wants to guide. The smart person surrenders the need to be clever and chooses to be clear. They do not act out of obligation, guilt, or fear of missing out. They act because something deep within them says, "This is the way." And when they hear that voice, they move, not out of panic, but with purpose. Not because of pressure, but because of clarity. This kind of inner listening takes practice. It is a discipline. One must become still, silent, receptive. One must step back from the noise of the world, the opinions of others, the chatter of the mind, and enter the temple of the soul. There, one asks, "What is right for me?" Not, "What do they want me to do?" Not, "What will look best?" Not, "What do I feel like doing right now?" But, "What is divinely right in this moment?" To cultivate this listening, the smart person makes time for quiet. They journal, they pray, they meditate. They walk alone in nature. They become familiar with the voice of intuition until it becomes louder than the voices of fear, doubt, or social expectation. They test it, they follow it, they learn to trust it. And as they trust it, their life begins to flow. They find themselves in the right place at the right time, speaking the right words, meeting the right people. Life opens up. Problems dissolve before they even appear. Obstacles vanish. Solutions present themselves before the question is fully formed. And still, the world around them may look at them and say, "How did you know?" But they smile and say nothing. For intuition cannot be explained to those who do not listen. The smart person does not argue their inner guidance. They do not seek validation for what they know inside. They simply obey. Obedience to intuition is the highest form of intelligence. It is not passivity. It is not weakness. It is the strength of surrender to the higher path. Trusting intuition also requires courage. The path it points to is not always the easiest or most comfortable. It may say, leave that job, when logic says stay. It may say no, when everyone expects you to say yes. It may ask you to walk away, to step up, to risk, to wait. And in these moments, the smart person listens. Not because it is easy, but because it is right. They understand that every act of obedience to the inner voice deepens their connection to it. Each time they follow, the voice becomes clearer, stronger, more immediate. There are times when the impulse feels stronger than the intuition, because fear is loud and stillness is quiet. But even then, intuition waits. It is never gone. It simply steps aside until we are ready to listen again. The smart person forgives themselves for the times they ignored it. They learn from it. They adjust course. They return to the inner compass and say, "Guide me again." And the compass always responds. The outer world is a mirror of the inner. When we follow our intuition, we send out a signal of trust and clarity to the universe. The universe responds in kind. Doors open without force. Right timing is revealed. The people we need show up. The opportunities we desire align. This is not luck, it is law. Inner clarity produces outer ease. Inner confusion produces outer conflict. Impulse produces detours. Intuition produces alignment. It is not about being perfect, it is about being present. The smart person is not free from doubt. They are free from the need to obey it. They feel the emotion, but do not let it drive. They notice the impulse, but do not follow it blindly. They recognize the fear, but wait for the peace. They listen for the quiet, yes, of the soul, and when they hear it, they move, even if the world tells them they're wrong. In the stillness, they remember who they are, not a victim of circumstance, not a slave to impulse, but a vessel of divine wisdom. They remember that intuition is their birthright, their compass, their sacred inheritance. They remember that they are not alone in this life, that there is a higher mind, a higher order, a divine intelligence that knows the way, and whispers it gently, moment by moment, thought by thought, step by step. Speak words of faith, not fear. Words are not idle, they are seeds. They go forth into the invisible and create form. Every word spoken plants itself in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind and grows after its kind. Words of faith yield blessings, harmony, and success. Words of fear produce delays, struggles, and loss. The smart person understands that their mouth is a creative instrument. What they speak becomes law. What they declare becomes their experience. Most people speak carelessly, unaware that they are issuing decrees with every sentence. They say things like, "I'm always broke. I can't catch a break. This always happens to me," and then wonder why misfortune seems to follow them. These are not harmless expressions, they are self-fulfilling prophecies. Words of fear bind, limit, and delay. They call forth the very conditions one seeks to avoid. Fearful speech is magnetic to negative experiences. The smart person chooses their words with reverence, for they know that the universe listens and responds. To speak words of faith is not to ignore appearances, but to rise above them. It is to look a problem in the eye and say, "Even this shall pass. Even this shall be made right. I am divinely guided, and nothing can harm me." Faith speaks in the language of certainty, not desperation. It does not beg, it declares. It does not hope, it knows. Faith says, "I am provided for." Even when the bank account is low, it says, "I am healed." Even when the diagnosis is grim, it says, "Everything is unfolding perfectly." Even when circumstances appear chaotic. Fearful people believe that their words must reflect their situation. They think it dishonest to say, "I am well," when they are sick, or "I am wealthy," when they are in debt. But spiritual law does not operate by the visible. It responds to the spoken word backed by belief. The smart person understands this paradox. They know that speaking the truth of the soul is more powerful than describing the facts of the moment. They declare what they desire to see, not what they currently observe. Speaking words of faith requires discipline. The world trains people to complain, to doubt, to gossip, to dramatize. But the one who desires mastery over life must gain mastery over the tongue. The uncontrolled tongue is like a wild horse. It can destroy. The trained tongue is a golden chariot, carrying the speaker swiftly toward their good. The smart person speaks deliberately. They ask themselves before speaking, is this rooted in faith or in fear? If the answer is fear, they are silent. If it is faith, they speak it boldly. Many wonder why their affirmations seem ineffective. They say, I repeated the positive words, but nothing changed. This is because the words were empty. Faith is not in the syllables, it is in the vibration behind the words. To say, I am prosperous, while feeling fear and doubt is to cancel the affirmation before it has time to take root. The smart person does not merely recite, they embody. They fill their words with conviction. They speak from the place of knowing, not wishing. To cultivate this kind of speech, one must first cleanse the heart. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. If the heart is filled with resentment, worry, and guilt, then even the most beautiful words will carry the frequency of fear. The smart person examines their inner state. They release what is false. They forgive past wrongs. They neutralize bitterness with blessing. Then, when they speak, their words are pure vessels of light and power. Faith-filled speech is not just for moments of crisis. It is a way of life. It is saying, thank you, before the blessing arrives. It is saying, I am safe, before the path is clear. It is saying yes to life, even when circumstances seem to say no. The smart person builds a habit of faith, language in small things, so that when the storm comes, their tongue does not default to fear. They speak life into their home, their work, their body, their relationships. They speak hope when others complain. They speak solutions when others speak problems. Their words uplift, direct, and bless. Words of faith also carry authority. They are not passive. They command. The smart person speaks with the certainty of one who knows they are backed by divine power. They say, doors open for me now. And the doors swing wide. They say, the right people are drawn to me. And the people appear. They say, nothing and no one can stop my good, and obstacles dissolve. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is standing in the truth of who one really is, a creator, not a victim. Fearful words, on the other hand, weaken the speaker. They broadcast doubt, confusion, and vulnerability. They attract unwanted situations. The person who constantly says, I can't. I'm afraid. What if it goes wrong? Is sowing seeds of struggle. These seeds may not sprout immediately, but they will take root. The smarty person refuses to plant what they do not want to harvest. They weed the garden of their speech daily. If a fear-based thought arises, they do not speak it. They transform it. They say, I release this thought. I choose to speak only what I desire to see. This practice does not mean denying emotions. Emotions arise, and the smart person feels them fully, but they do not speak them into permanence. They may feel afraid, but they do not say, I am doomed. Instead, they say, even now, I am being guided. They do not speak limitation into their life story. They do not make declarations rooted in temporary discomfort. They speak from the higher self, the eternal truth, the part of them that is untouched by circumstance. Children instinctively understand this. They speak with boldness. They say, I'm a superhero. I'm the fastest. I'm amazing, without apology or doubt. Somewhere along the way, the world teaches people to speak smaller, to temper their light, to hedge their declarations. The smart person reclaims that childlike certainty. They remember the creative power of the word. They say, I am worthy. I am whole. I am ready. And they say it not as a wish but as a decree. This way of speaking also influences others. Words of faith uplift not only the speaker but the listener. In a room full of fear, one voice of truth can shift the energy. The smart person uses their words to build, to bless, to calm, to guide. They do not waste their breath on gossip or criticism. They use their words as instruments of healing. They speak favor over others. They say, "You've got this. You're not alone. Something good is coming." And those words take root in the hearts of those who hear them. Their speech becomes a ministry. It is said that words are spells. That is why we spell them. Each sentence is a casting of intent into the fabric of reality. The smart person treats this power with reverence. They know that a careless word can wound deeply, and a kind word can heal. They do not say what they do not mean. They do not predict doom or speak defeat. They speak as one whose words are watched, for they know they are always planting, always directing energy, always creating. Align with universal laws, not ego. The universe is governed by fixed principles, invisible yet unchanging, eternal yet immediate. These laws are not invented by humankind. They are discovered. They existed before language, before belief, before any religion. Just as gravity pulls with silent certainty, the spiritual laws work in stillness and precision. They do not bend to opinion, emotion, or circumstance. The smart person learns to recognize and live by these laws, for they are the blueprint of a harmonious life. The ego, on the other hand, is loud, reactive, and unstable. It thrives on control, separation, comparison, and fear. It believes that life must be forced, manipulated, and defended. It does not trust flow. It believes in fight. The ego resists the universal order because it wants to be the sole ruler. It wants to claim credit for every success and assign blame for every failure. It is addicted to appearances and obsessed with outcomes. The smart person sees through this illusion and aligns instead with what is real, what is true, and what is permanent. There is a law of cause and effect. What you sow, you reap. Every thought, word, and action plants a seed in the unseen, and that seed will return a harvest in due season. The ego believes it can cheat this law, cut corners, or manipulate outcomes. It thinks it can lie without consequence, hate without return, take without loss. But the law is impersonal and unyielding. It delivers not what one wants, but what one gives. The smart person knows this and chooses their inner world carefully. They guard their thoughts. They bless rather than curse. They forgive rather than avenge. They trust that every generous act returns multiplied, every fearful impulse must be dissolved, and nothing escapes the balance of divine law. There is the law of vibration. Everything is energy and everything vibrates. Thoughts are not invisible, they are magnetic. Feelings are not private, they radiate. The ego clings to the idea that thoughts are neutral unless acted upon, but the universal law responds to the frequency behind every intention. What you expect, you invite. What you believe, you build. What you fear, you feed. The smart person raises their vibration deliberately. They choose thoughts that reflect the world they wish to live in, not the one they fear. They speak not of what is lacking, but of what is already on its way. They do not wait for conditions to improve. They improve their own alignment first. Knowing the outer must follow the inner. The law of divine timing is another that the ego resents. The ego demands instant gratification. It wants results now, applause now, answers now. It views waiting as weakness. But the smart person trusts the perfect unfolding of events. They understand that what is truly theirs can never be withheld, and what delays them may be refining them. They do not rush, force, or panic. They take inspired action and then release the outcome, knowing that right timing is never late. They align with patience, not passivity. They move when moved by spirit, not pushed by fear. Another great law is the law of assumption. What you assume to be true becomes your reality. The ego doubts, questions, and sabotages. It assumes danger, rejection, and failure. It replays past disappointments and projects them onto the future. The smart person chooses differently. They assume success, they assume favor, they assume ease. Not as fantasy, but as alignment with what is possible through higher law. They walk as if their good is already theirs. They speak as if doors have already opened. They live from the end, not toward it. This alignment collapses delays and draws outcomes swiftly, for belief is the fuel of manifestation. The ego thrives on resistance. It believes that struggle is noble, that effort proves worth, that pain is the price of progress. But universal law works through ease. Nature does not strain to bloom, nor does the sun force itself to shine. The smart person lets go of the ego's attachment to struggle. They do not glorify burnout, competition, or overwork. They align with the law of flow, which says that what is right for you comes without strain. When resistance arises, they do not push harder. They pause, listen, and redirect. They move with life, not against it. There is also the law of oneness. All is connected. What you do to another, you do to yourself. The ego lives in separation. It sees others as competitors, threats, or tools. It creates hierarchies, judgments, and divisions. It seeks superiority through exclusion. But the universal law reveals unity. The smart person sees others not as enemies or rivals, but as reflections of their own consciousness. They bless those who curse them. They celebrate the success of others as proof of what is possible. They do not tear others down to feel taller. They rise by lifting others. They align with the truth that what is sent out returns, and so they send only what they wish to receive. The ego craves control. It clings to plans, predictions, and preferences. It fears the unknown and tries to dominate the unfolding of events. But the universal laws require surrender. Surrender is not defeat, it is alignment. The smart person lets go of needing to know every detail. They release the how and trust the law to handle the logistics. They hold the vision but let the path unfold. They move with inspired clarity but not rigid attachment. They replace control with cooperation, planning with presence. The ego also loves complexity. It confuses, distracts, and overcomplicates. It believes that success must be difficult and answers must be hidden. But universal truth is simple. What you give, returns. What you believe manifests. What you align with, becomes your experience. The smart person avoids overthinking and analysis paralysis. They do not seek endless proof or validation. They trust the simplicity of divine order. They clear their inner space and allow clarity to emerge. Gratitude is another force aligned with universal law. It multiplies good and dissolves limitation. The ego sees only what is missing. It compares, complains, and craves. But gratitude sees what is already working. It amplifies blessings by acknowledging them. The smart person gives thanks before the evidence appears. They cultivate appreciation not just as a feeling, but as a frequency. Gratitude is not passive, it is magnetic. It draws more to be grateful for. It signals to the law that the individual is ready to receive more. The law of detachment is often misunderstood. The ego thinks detachment means not caring, but in truth it means not clinging. The smart person desires fully, but without desperation. They hold their dreams like a bird in an open palm, not clenched in a fist. They trust the law to deliver in the best way, even if it looks different than they imagined. They do not measure success by appearances. They measure alignment. They know that the ego will always want more, but the soul desires truth. Humility is also essential to alignment. The ego seeks praise and superiority. It wants to be right, to be admired, to be worshipped. But universal law favors the humble, not the timid, but the clear. The smart person does not need to prove themselves. They serve quietly, they give generously. They remain teachable. They do not believe they are above others, nor do they pretend to be beneath them. They simply are, and they allow others to be. There is a rhythm to everything, a divine intelligence that orders the stars, the tides, the breath. The smart person aligns with that rhythm. They do not rush ahead, nor do they lag behind. They feel when to move, when to wait, when to act, when to release. They trust that this intelligence is greater than their limited view. They know that the ego panics in uncertainty, but the soul rests in knowing. The more they release the need to control, the more miracles unfold without effort. They stop striving and start aligning. They stop demanding and start receiving. They understand that the ego resists what already belongs to them, while alignment allows it in. Protect your energy like treasure. Your energy is your currency, your vibration, your influence, your shield, your magnet. It determines what you attract, how you feel, what you notice, and how others respond to you. To the smart person, energy is not abstract, it is practical. It is the very fuel of their clarity, their peace, their intuition, their creativity. When it is scattered, polluted, or drained, they cannot think clearly, love deeply, or move wisely. So, they guard it, not out of fear but out of wisdom. They treat it like sacred gold, because that is exactly what it is. People trade their energy for approval, for likes, for petty arguments, for the illusion of control, for proving their worth. They exhaust themselves pleasing people who are not pleased by anything. They drain themselves responding to every comment, every conflict, every demand that comes their way. The smarty person no longer lives this way. They recognize what steals their peace. They step back from emotional clutter, from energetic vampires, from mental noise. They stop giving access to those who only take. Stop explaining themselves to those committed to misunderstanding, and stop leaking energy into holes that never fill. Protecting your energy means becoming deeply selective about your focus. Where your attention goes, energy flows. If your attention is constantly pulled to chaos, gossip, negativity, and lack, your energy will reflect that. You will feel tired, irritated, restless, and empty. The smart person redirects their gaze. They look toward growth, beauty, peace, and purpose. They do not stare at the problem for hours. They seek solutions. They do not obsess over what is missing. They appreciate what is present. They do not feed the noise. They nourish the stillness. Their attention is not free. It is invested with intention. Energy protection also means understanding boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors with locks. The smart person decides who walks through those doors. They do not allow anyone to enter their field with disrespect, manipulation, or drama. They do not keep people around out of guilt or fear. They do not allow their kindness to be mistaken for endless access. They say no, not with hardness but with honor. They say no to conversations that drain, commitments that distract, relationships that deplete. Every no to what dishonors them is a yes to their power. Some protect their homes more than their minds. They lock the doors but leave their inner space wide open to every fear, every demand, every insult. The smart person locks the mind as firmly as the house. They become conscious of what thoughts they entertain. They do not invite every worry to sit and stay. They do not replay old arguments like background music. They keep their mental space clean, calm, and aligned. If a negative thought knocks, they answer with truth. If an anxious thought arises, they soothe it. Not with panic, but with presence. Their energy is not left to chance. It is curated. Technology is one of the greatest drains of modern energy. Endless scrolling, passive consumption, digital noise, it all fragments the focus and saps vitality. The smart person limits their exposure. They choose when to be online, what to consume, and why. They do not wake up to notifications and feed their mind chaos before the day even begins. They reclaim their mornings, protect their sleep, and create digital boundaries. They understand that quiet is not empty, it is powerful. In stillness, energy is restored, clarity returns, and guidance flows. Relationships either nourish or drain, uplift or confuse. The smart person audits their circle without apology. They do not tolerate emotional games, passive aggression, or energetic dependence. They do not confuse history with alignment. They love deeply, but they love themselves enough to walk away when necessary. They do not chase connection. They attract it through resonance. They surround themselves with those who respect their time, honor their growth, and match their energy. They know that one true connection is worth more than 100 shallow ones. They keep their circle sacred, not crowded. The body is the vessel of energy. To protect energy is to care for the body. The smart person listens to their physical cues. They rest when tired, move when stagnant, hydrate when dry, nourish when depleted. They do not push themselves beyond balance in the name of achievement. They do not punish their body with guilt or shame. They create rituals of renewal, walks in nature, baths of silence, meals of gratitude, moments of movement. They honor their body as an altar, a channel for intuition and joy. Their energy is grounded, not scattered. Silence is a sanctuary for energy. The world is loud and the ego thrives in noise. The smart person creates intentional silence. They step away from the crowd, the constant, the chaotic. In silence, they hear their own voice again. In silence, the wisdom within rises. In silence, the energy they gave away returns home. They do not fear being alone, they cherish it. Solitude is not loneliness, it is presence with self. It is a sacred meeting with spirit. The smart person turns down the outer volume to hear the inner knowing. Energy is also affected by what is unspoken. Unexpressed anger, unhealed wounds, unresolved grief, these are silent drains. The smart person does not bury their emotions. They acknowledge, feel, and release. They write it out, cry it through, speak it safely. They do not carry the weight of unprocessed pain into tomorrow. They do not perform wellness while suppressing truth. Emotional honesty is energy hygiene. They know that what is felt can be healed. What is denied grows heavier. They lighten their load by living emotionally clean. Words carry energy. Every word spoken either lifts or lowers vibration. The smart person speaks with care. They do not curse their lives with complaint, do not drain their field with gossip, do not weaken themselves with sarcasm and self-deprecation. They bless their path with kind language. They affirm their worth, their strength, their direction. They speak light into their space, speak healing into their days. Their words match their energy, and their energy shapes their experience. Many give their energy to the past. Regrets, grudges, memories loop endlessly. But the past is a closed door. The smart person withdraws their energy from what cannot be changed. They bless the past, release the attachment, and bring their full power to the now. Energy in the present multiplies. Energy trapped in memory withers. They reclaim the power once lost in old stories and invest it in new creation. Comparison is another thief of energy. The ego thrives on measuring itself against others. But the smart person knows that comparison is a lie. No one has your path, your purpose, your timing. They do not spend energy watching someone else's garden bloom. They water their own. They celebrate others without diminishing themselves. They understand that someone else's success is not their failure. They are too focused on their alignment to be distracted by envy. Energy is also protected through spiritual connection. Whether through prayer, meditation, visualization, or silence, the smart person returns daily to the source. They recharge in the invisible. They draw strength not just from food or rest, but from truth. They speak with their higher self. They receive clarity from the field of the unseen. They know that energy is not just physical, it is soul deep. And when the soul is nourished, the energy glows. Living wisely means spending energy on what feeds, not what bleeds. The smart person asks, does this lift me? Does this align with my truth? Does this reflect love or fear? They do not react, they respond. They do not explain, they embody. They do not chase, they attract. Their energy is not random, it is sovereign. They live like guardians of a sacred flame, and that flame lights the way forward. Think long, not loud. The smart person does not rush to speak just to be heard. They do not confuse volume with value, reaction with wisdom, or speed with substance. They understand that the loudest voice is often not the wisest, and that many speak only to fill the silence, not to reveal truth. In a world obsessed with immediate opinions, instant reactions, and attention-grabbing declarations, the smart person chooses instead to think deeply. Speak thoughtfully, and act intentionally. They know that real power is quiet, real clarity is calm, and real intelligence waits for understanding before it demands attention. Thinking long means pausing between stimulus and response. It means allowing space for reflection, for discernment, for observation. The ego rushes. It feels threatened by silence and impatient with process. It wants to be first, not right. But the smart person recognizes the strength of stillness. They know that wisdom does not shout. It listens. It gathers. It weighs. It reflects. It does not race to conclusion but walks to insight. The smart person is not interested in winning arguments. They are interested in seeing clearly. They do not throw words like darts. They shape them like keys. To think long is to see beyond the moment. It means stepping back from the heat of emotion and looking through the eyes of time. The loud thinker reacts to what is immediate. They are consumed by the now, triggered by every shift, pulled into every storm. The long thinker sees the bigger picture. They ask, will this matter in 5 years? Is this the real issue, or just the symptom? Am I responding from wisdom or wound? They do not allow fleeting moods to drive permanent decisions. They rise above the noise of urgency to listen to the whisper of vision. Thinking long also means caring more about truth than ego. The ego wants to be right, not wise. It speaks over others, defends its position, clings to its story. But the smart person is willing to change their mind. They do not fear being wrong. They fear remaining blind. They study themselves as much as they study others. They ask hard questions and do not flinch at the answers. They recognize that growth often comes through discomfort, and that the truth may contradict what they once believed. They are not loyal to their opinions. They are loyal to their evolution. Loud thinkers often seek to impress. They want to appear certain, strong, informed, important. They speak more than they listen. They fill space with words instead of wisdom. But the smart person does not perform intelligence. They embody it. They are not interested in being impressive. They are interested in being effective. They know that true influence does not come from noise, but from clarity. Their thoughts are not rushed, and their words are not wasted. They would rather say one thing that transforms than 10 things that distract. They carry presence more than persuasion. To think long is to think beyond self. It means considering the impact of your words and actions, not just on your own life, but on the lives around you. The smart person asks, what does this decision ripple into? Who does this choice affect? Is this beneficial or just convenient? They understand that leadership begins with responsibility, that the mind must be trained not only to analyze, but to empathize. They do not think only for their own gain. They think for the good of the whole. They are not caught in the vanity of personal victories, but are committed to collective wisdom. The practice of thinking long sharpens the inner voice. When the world shouts with noise, urgency, and distraction, the smart person turns inward. They make space for their own insight to emerge. Not recycled thoughts, not borrowed beliefs, but original, conscious perspective. They journal. They meditate. They walk. They sit with questions instead of demanding immediate answers. They know that deep thinking is not about complication. It is about clarity. The deeper the roots, the higher the reach. They allow time for thoughts to mature, for intuition to rise, for alignment to crystallize. They do not confuse mental noise with mental strength. Thinking long means thinking ahead. It means planting seeds, not just picking fruit. The smart person sees decisions as seeds. They understand that what they do now shapes what grows later. They do not act for applause. They act for results. They are not driven by how things look, but by how they unfold. They prepare for seasons not yet here. They make choices their future self will thank them for. While others chase quick wins, they invest in deep foundations. They know that some rewards come only to those willing to wait, build, and endure. They do not fear the long road. They walk it with quiet confidence. There is also discipline in thinking long. Discipline to resist impulsive reactions, to pause before speaking, to question before concluding. The smart person does not let mood drive meaning. They do not let urgency dictate truth. They take responsibility for their perceptions. They recognize that not everything deserves a response, and not every reaction deserves energy. They develop the strength to observe without absorbing, to witness without collapsing, to engage without losing their center. Their mind is not chaotic, it is trained, not rigid but refined. Thinking long invites grace. Grace for others, grace for self, grace for the process. The smart person does not demand perfection, only progress. They know that understanding takes time, and that growth is not always loud or visible. They do not rush others into change nor shame themselves for evolving slowly. They honor the timing of insight, the layers of healing, the unfolding of clarity. They do not interrupt the process with premature certainty. They let things ripen. They let wisdom arrive in its own way, in its own time. The world often rewards the loudest voice, but the smart person is not chasing applause. They are pursuing alignment. They speak only when their words carry weight. They act only when their steps are guided by insight. They trust that silence can be louder than noise, that presence can speak louder than opinion, and that understanding grows not from speaking first, but from listening fully. In conversations, the smart person does not dominate. They create space. They ask questions, they listen with curiosity, they pause before responding. They are not waiting to talk. They are learning, absorbing, reflecting. They do not argue for the sake of being right. They explore for the sake of uncovering truth. They do not speak to fill silence. They speak to bridge understanding. Their communication is rooted not in the need to impress, but in the desire to connect. They are aware of the energy behind their thoughts. Loud thinking is often anxious, defensive, or self-absorbed. Long thinking is calm, centered, and spacious. The smart person clears the emotional fog before they try to make sense of anything. They ask, is this thought coming from fear or clarity? Is this belief rooted in truth or habit? They challenge their assumptions. They are not seduced by their own biases. They grow beyond them. They understand that every belief is a lens, and if the lens is dirty, the vision will be distorted. They think long because they live long. Not in years, but in depth. They are not reacting to today, they are shaping the whole story. They are not chasing the next thing. They are building something enduring. They make decisions not just for now, but for legacy. They do not seek to be impressive today, they seek to be impactful over time. Their mind is not loud, but luminous, quiet, aware, deliberate, and deeply, deeply alive. The universe is not a place of lack, nor a battlefield of endless toil. It is a storehouse of riches, infinite and overflowing, waiting for the open heart and receptive mind to claim them. Too long have many believed that prosperity must be wrung from sweat, strain, and restless labor. Yet the truth shines simple and radiant: money is not earned by force, it is magnetized by consciousness. The invisible law works with unfailing certainty, and when you align with it, wealth flows toward you as naturally as rivers find the sea. Every thought is a seed, and every word a decree. The one who declares lack receives lack, and the one who affirms abundance gathers abundance. The universe takes you at your word, for it hears no jest and knows no doubt. Speak riches, see riches, expect riches, and the floodgates of supply swing wide. To strain, to struggle, to grasp is to push away the very thing you seek. For what you clutch in fear slips like sand through grasping fingers, but what you bless with confidence comes swiftly and stays. The gold you desire is not outside you, it is within. You carry the key to the vault in your own mind. Picture yourself surrounded by plenty. Dwell upon the image until it grows so vivid, so alive, that the outer world must mirror it back. Money is but a symbol, a messenger of the greater truth, that you are one with an inexhaustible source. When you know this, when you feel it with unshakable faith, you cannot help but draw wealth from the unseen into the seen, without strain, without effort, without lifting a finger. Release the belief that life is hard, that fortune is rare, that only through endless effort can you taste the sweetness of wealth. Those are chains forged by doubt. Break them by speaking words of power. I live in a world of infinite supply. Money comes to me easily and joyfully. I attract wealth as surely as the sun rises. Say it not with hope, but with certainty, as a sovereign declaring a decree. The law must answer, for the law cannot fail. See money not as a thing to chase, but as a guest to welcome. When you open the doors of your mind with expectation, it enters gladly and in great measure. Wealth does not respond to worry, but to calm assurance. It rushes to the one who knows, not the one who begs. Lift your thoughts, align with the eternal abundance, and riches will come, multiplying beyond measure, for your word has called them forth. You are not here to toil for crumbs. You are here to feast at the banquet of plenty. Infinite supply is your birthright, and the unseen forces of the universe hasten to deliver it when you stand in faith, when you speak with authority, when you rest in the knowledge that you need not lift a finger, Only align your thought, your word, your vision, and all the treasures of heaven and earth are added unto you. Money is magnetized by consciousness, not effort. To many, this truth appears too simple, even impossible, because the mind of the world has been trained to believe that struggle is the only path to gain, that endless hours of labor are the sole doorway to prosperity. Yet the invisible law of life tells another story. Wealth is not created by pushing against circumstances or exhausting the body with relentless work. Wealth is drawn into one's orbit by the quiet, unseen force of thought, by the vibration of belief, by the certainty that what is desired already exists in abundance. The universe is not moved by sweat, it is moved by faith, by alignment, by the consciousness that knows its oneness with infinite supply. When one understands that money is energy, it becomes clear that it answers to the inner climate of the soul. A fearful heart repels prosperity as surely as a locked door keeps out a guest. An expectant spirit, on the other hand, flings the gates open wide, and riches pour in with ease. The one who lives in dread of poverty continually rehearses lack in thought, and the universe obediently reflects it. But the one who cultivates the thought of plenty, who sees and feels abundance even before a coin appears, draws wealth to themselves like a magnet draws iron filings. There is no struggle in this attraction, only the certainty of law responding to consciousness. The common teaching says toil harder, grasp tighter, hustle endlessly, and perhaps fortune will favor you. But this teaching blinds the eyes to the deeper reality, that fortune is not bestowed by chance, nor earned by overwork, it is invoked by consciousness. The man who drags himself through endless days of effort, but entertains thoughts of lack finds little gain, for he fights against the very vibration he radiates. His mind says, I do not have enough, and so his world echoes back, you do not have enough. Yet another, perhaps working little, holds within a steady knowing that riches flow easily, that life is generous, that money is his rightful companion. And the money appears, from channels unseen, from avenues unexpected, as if carried on wings to his doorstep. The difference lies not in the work, but in the consciousness. Consider the magnet. It does not chase iron, it does not sweat or strive. It simply is what it is, and because it is aligned with the nature of iron, the filings leap toward it. So it is with the one who aligns thought with prosperity. Money is not compelled by force, it is compelled by resonance. To declare oneself rich in mind, to see wealth as natural, to expect money as easily as one expects the sun to rise. This is to create a magnetic pull so strong that the outer world must comply. The labor of the hands may be one channel through which supply appears, but the true cause is always consciousness. Many will say, but I work hard and still I lack. Yes, for hard work without right consciousness is like planting seed in barren soil. You may toil, you may water, you may labor day and night, but the soil does not respond because the consciousness is poor. On the other hand, the rich soil of a prosperous mind yields harvests from the smallest seed, harvests so great that the world calls them miracles. Yet they are no miracle. Only law, silently obeying the one who understands it. Money flows where it is welcomed. To welcome it is not to cling, nor to beg, but to know without doubt that it belongs with you, that it delights to come, that it arrives in abundance. This welcoming is not born of effort but of inner atmosphere. Just as the fragrant flower draws the bee without pursuit, the mind fragrant with certainty of wealth draws riches without chase. The one who cultivates such consciousness does not waste hours in frantic grasping. They dwell in assurance, and in that assurance, opportunities, ideas, and gifts arrive. Let no one believe that the wealthy are favored by chance. They are favored by their belief, by their expectation, by their willingness to imagine abundance as their reality. Some may inherit. Others may stumble into ventures, but behind every lasting fortune is a consciousness aligned with increase. And behind every fleeting gain is a mind still bound by fear of loss. For even when money is grasped by effort, if the consciousness remains poor, the money slips away. True riches are secured not by outer force, but by inner knowing. Look within and ask, what do I believe about money? For the belief is the mold into which substance flows. If you believe money is scarce, then scarce it will be. If you believe money is difficult, then difficult it will seem. If you believe it comes only by toil, then toil will be your master. But if you believe money is natural, abundant, joyous, and eager to come to you, then such will be your daily experience. This shift of belief is the only true labor required, and once made, the results unfold as if by magic, though it is only law. The great mistake is to suppose that the outer creates the inner. People imagine that once money is in hand, then they can feel prosperous. But the law works in reverse. You feel prosperous first, and the money must appear. To wait for the outer sign is to wait in vain. To live now in the inner state of wealth is to summon the outer sign with certainty. Consciousness is the cause, money the effect. No amount of outward pushing can alter this truth. The one who grasps this secret steps into freedom. No longer chained to the belief that more hours, more sweat, more struggle are the only keys. They rest in the quiet knowing that thought rules substance. They cease to chase and begin to attract. They stop demanding and start declaring. They abandon worry and adopt expectancy. And as surely as the seed becomes the flower, as surely as the dawn follows the night, the wealth appears, faithful to the consciousness that called it forth. Every thought and word is a decree shaping abundance or lack. The mind is not a passive stream of drifting ideas, it is a throne of command. Each thought is a seed sown in the fertile field of the unseen, and each word is the water that nourishes it into form. The world you see, the circumstances that surround you, the money in your pocket, or the debts you carry, are all the faithful reflection of the decrees you have spoken and the thoughts you have allowed to take root. Nothing arrives by accident, nothing clings without reason. Consciousness precedes everything, and speech clothes consciousness in vibration that the universe cannot resist but to obey. When you think thoughts of lack, even in passing, you are issuing commands to the unseen to withhold. You may say, "I never have enough. Money slips away from me. It is hard to prosper." And in saying so, you build the very wall that keeps abundance from entering. The law does not discriminate, it simply echoes back the decree. When you declare limitation, you sculpt it. When you declare poverty, you invite it. When you declare struggle, you bind yourself to its endless wheel. But when you dare to declare plenty, when you dare to affirm wealth, when you dare to speak words of prosperity with confidence, the same law that once served your fears turns and serves your faith. Thoughts are invisible architects. They draw the lines of your experience. They mark out the blueprint of your days. A person who constantly entertains worry over bills is drafting a design for more bills, more pressure, more scarcity. They live in a mental picture of insufficiency, and the outer world must conform to that picture. Another, who chooses to dwell on images of abundance, who pictures wealth surrounding them, who speaks of opportunities flowing their way, is drafting a design for riches. Their speech becomes prophecy, their thought becomes magnet, and the world bends to bring them the evidence of what was held within. Words are powerful beyond comprehension. They are not casual sounds cast into the air, they are decrees stamped upon the substance of life. When you speak, you send forth vibrations that gather matter, events, and circumstances to mirror the tone of your declaration. A careless word of lack may seem small, but it sets in motion forces that produce more lack. A single word of wealth, spoken with conviction, begins to call forth supply from hidden channels. Life is ever listening, ever recording, ever shaping itself to the pattern of what you announce. Consider how often people sabotage themselves by idle talk. They say, "I can't afford it. Money doesn't grow on trees. I never get a break. Life is unfair." These phrases may seem harmless, but each one is a decree, a command, a mold into which substance flows. The universe does not ask whether you meant the words or not, it hears them and obeys. In the same way, when you speak words of faith, money comes to me easily. I live in abundance. Every day I grow richer. Those too are decrees. They summon conditions to prove themselves true. The difference between the rich and the poor is not simply what they hold in their hands, but what they hold in their tongues. It is not enough to think prosperity once in a while and then undo it with hours of worry. The mind must be trained to dwell upon abundance until it becomes natural. The lips must be trained to speak prosperity until no word of lack escapes. Just as a gardener removes weeds that threaten the harvest, so must you uproot thoughts of scarcity and replace them with affirmations of plenty. Every time you catch yourself thinking, "I can't," shift to, "I can." Every time you are tempted to say, "I don't have," speak instead, "I have that I need and more." This discipline of thought and word reshapes the invisible and draws into your orbit the wealth that already waits in the unseen. The world itself is a grand echo chamber, returning to each what they have spoken into it. If you fill your days with complaints of shortage, the echo comes back as more shortage. If you fill your speech with thanksgiving for supply, the echo comes back as multiplied supply. Gratitude is itself a decree, for to say, "I am grateful for abundance," is to proclaim abundance as present. The law, never failing, matches that decree with outward evidence. To live in gratitude is to constantly affirm richness, and richness cannot resist the pull of such words. Even silent thoughts carry the same creative power. The universe hears the whispers of the heart as clearly as the shouts of the tongue. Secret resentment of money, envy of the rich, fear of debt. All these unspoken decrees shape outer life. But silent blessings, silent affirmations, silent visions of wealth and joy, these too call forth their evidence. The inner monologue is as potent as the outer conversation, and together they weave the pattern of destiny. Imagine two people standing side by side. One says, "Life is hard, money is scarce, opportunities pass me by." The other says, "Life is generous, money flows freely, opportunities chase after me." Both stand in the same world, yet they inhabit different realities, because each has issued a decree that shapes the unseen into form. Soon their lives diverge. The first grows weary under burdens, the second walks in ease. Outsiders call it luck or chance, but it is neither. It is simply the law answering their respective decrees. To master life, one must master thought and word. This is the true labor, greater than any physical struggle. To hold steady the thought of wealth when appearances suggest otherwise, to speak words of abundance when the purse seems empty, this is the work of faith. And faith, held firmly, bends reality to itself. The outer world is clay, the inner decree the hand that molds it. Speak with authority, think with certainty, and abundance is compelled to take shape. Wealth flows naturally when aligned with faith and expectation. The flow of prosperity is not forced, nor is it wrestled into being by desperate action. It is a current, steady and sure, like a river that never ceases. To step into that current requires no strain, no frantic effort, but only the alignment of the inner life with trust and expectancy. Faith is the invisible bridge that carries the unseen into the seen, and expectation is the open vessel waiting to be filled. When these two are united, abundance flows as surely as rain falls upon the earth. The one who holds faith in poverty reaps poverty, for faith is not merely positive, it is belief made vivid, whether for good or for ill. If you believe with intensity that life is hard, and that wealth is beyond your reach, you will surely experience what you believe. But if you choose to believe with equal intensity that money comes easily, that riches are your rightful portion, that opportunities pursue you with eagerness, then these two will find their way into your experience. Faith directs the flow, expectation opens the gate. When the two are harmonized, prosperity has no choice but to arrive. Expectation is the atmosphere of abundance. The one who expects nothing receives nothing. The one who expects little receives little. But the one who expects much draws much. For life bends itself to meet the measure of expectation. Imagine a guest preparing to visit. If you expect their arrival, you make the house ready. You set a place at the table, you watch for their coming. The expectation itself becomes a silent summons, and the guest appears. Wealth responds in the same manner. If you expect it, you prepare for it, you look for it, and in so doing, you call it forth. If you expect lack, you unconsciously prepare for lack, and lack responds. Faith is the deep knowing that the unseen supply is already yours. It is not hope, for hope still waits with uncertainty. Faith declares, "It is so," even before evidence appears. To align with faith is to walk as though the abundance you desire is already at hand, to speak as though the treasures of heaven and earth have already been delivered. This inner certainty creates a magnetic field that draws outer evidence. The world must conform to the conviction of faith, just as a shadow must conform to the shape of the object that casts it. The current of wealth is ever flowing. Many stand on its banks, lamenting that they are dry, not realizing that their doubts and fears keep them from stepping in. To enter requires only trust, the willingness to release the belief that life is against you, and to accept that the universe is for you. Faith is the step into the river. Expectation is the cup you carry, and abundance is the water that rushes to fill it. If your cup is small, your portion is small. If your cup is large, your portion is large. The flow does not change, only the measure of your expectancy does. It is not uncommon to see one person who struggles endlessly, working harder and harder, yet remains bound in scarcity, while another seems to prosper with little visible effort. The difference lies not in merit or luck, but in alignment. The struggler works from fear, from doubt, from the belief that supply is scarce and must be grasped tightly. The prosperous one works, if at all, from faith, from calm assurance, from the knowing that supply is infinite and arrives in perfect time. To the world, it appears as luck or privilege, but beneath the surface it is the difference between misalignment and alignment. Wealth flows naturally to the one whose inner state is tuned to receive. Expectation is not idle wishing. It is the steady posture of the soul that knows abundance is on its way. The one who expects riches begins to live as though they are already present. They speak with confidence, they act with generosity. They carry themselves with assurance. They do not postpone joy until the money arrives, they walk in joy now, and the money rushes to match their state. This is the secret: the outer world mirrors the inner. By expecting abundance, you live in abundance inwardly, and the law must reproduce it outwardly. Faith must be unshakable. To believe in prosperity one day and doubt it the next is to open and close the door, keeping the supply from entering. The law responds to consistency, to unwavering trust. Just as the farmer does not dig up the seed each day to check whether it grows, but trusts the unseen process, so must you hold faith in the unseen supply. The roots of abundance spread in silence before the harvest shows itself. To abandon faith midway is to interrupt the process. To hold faith steadily is to guarantee the harvest. Wealth flows not by force but by surrender. Not surrender to lack but surrender to the law of abundance. To cease striving, to release worry, to let go of resistance, is to allow the natural current to carry you. Worry is a dam that blocks the river. Expectation is the opening that releases it. Fear is the anchor that holds you to the shore. Faith is the sail that carries you into the flow. Align with faith, align with expectation, and you find yourself lifted and carried without strain, borne effortlessly into prosperity. This alignment is not mystical in the sense of being unreachable, it is practical and immediate. It is as simple as choosing what thoughts you dwell upon and what words you speak. When you wake in the morning and say, "This is a day of increase. This is a day of prosperity. This is a day when money flows easily to me," you set the tone of faith and expectation. When you go about your affairs with an inner calm that knows abundance is inevitable, you walk in alignment. When challenges arise but you affirm, "Even now, wealth flows to me. Even now, supply is certain," you remain in the current. This steady practice strengthens your faith and enlarges your expectation until the flow becomes visible in all you touch. Prosperity is an inner reality before it becomes outer form. What appears in the visible world is but a reflection of what has already been established in the invisible realm of thought and belief. Nothing manifests outwardly that has not first existed inwardly. The riches you long for are not waiting somewhere outside of you to be found or chased. They already exist as a possibility, a pattern, a living seed in consciousness. To see prosperity in your life, you must first see it within. To hold lack within is to bind yourself to lack without. To hold abundance within is to invite its inevitable appearance in the outer world. The world of appearances often deceives those who do not understand this truth. They look at an empty purse and declare themselves poor. And by declaring it, they make it so. They see bills mounting and believe in lack, and that belief carves deeper channels for more lack to arrive. Yet another, who looks at the same conditions but chooses instead to affirm inward abundance, to feel inward wealth, to know inward prosperity, begins to shift the unseen currents. In time, those currents reshape the visible, and supply appears as though from nowhere. The difference is not in circumstance but in consciousness. Prosperity begins as a state of mind, a settled conviction that you are one with infinite supply. This conviction does not waver when the outer world seems to contradict it, for it is anchored in truth, not appearances. The unseen is always greater than the seen. When you carry prosperity within, you hold the blueprint of your outer world. The unseen mind is the architect, and the visible experience is the building. If the blueprint is designed with scarcity, the building will display scarcity. If the blueprint is drawn with abundance, the building will radiate abundance. All outer form is but stone and wood shaped to fit the invisible design. Those who struggle against conditions, without first changing their inner state, are like painters who try to alter their canvas without touching the brush. They wipe and scrape and demand a new picture, yet the brush continues to apply the same strokes, the same colors, because their thoughts remain unchanged. The wise know that to alter the painting, they must change the brush. To alter life, they must change thought. The picture of prosperity must be drawn within before it can appear without. Prosperity is not measured by the coins in your hand, but by the certainty of abundance in your heart. Two people may hold the same sum of money. One trembles in fear of losing it, another rests in assurance of endless supply. To the fearful one, the money dwindles and vanishes, for their inner reality is lack. To the assured one, the money multiplies, opportunities expand, doors open, for their inner reality is abundance. The outer form follows the inner conviction. To cultivate the inner reality of prosperity, you must live as though wealth is already present, even before the outer signs appear. Feel rich in thought, speak as though you are surrounded by plenty. Act with the calm confidence of one who knows their supply is sure. This is not pretense, it is alignment with truth. The outer world may not yet display your abundance, but the inner world declares it with certainty, and the law of life cannot fail to reproduce it. Consider the seed hidden in the soil. To the eye, there is nothing there, only darkness and emptiness. But within, the seed carries the reality of the plant. The gardener trusts this unseen reality, watering and tending though no growth is visible. In time, the invisible becomes visible, the inner pattern becomes outer form. Prosperity works the same way. When you plant thoughts of abundance, even if the soil of life looks barren, the inner seed is alive. In faith, you water it with affirmations, you tend it with expectation, you protect it from the weeds of doubt. Soon, the sprout breaks through, and prosperity appears in outer form. Doubt is the thief that uproots the seed before it grows. Those who say, "I will believe in my wealth when I see it," deny themselves the harvest, for they dig up the seed each day to check whether it has sprouted, and by doing so, they kill its growth. The true cultivator of prosperity believes first, feels first, affirms first, and waits in calm assurance for the outer form to appear. They know that the invisible law is at work, that supply is already on its way, that abundance is already secured within. The inner reality of prosperity must be vivid. It is not enough to merely wish or hope. You must see yourself surrounded by wealth. Imagine the life you desire, feel the joy of already possessing it. The subconscious mind, the builder of outer form, responds to images, feelings, and words repeated with faith. When you dwell on lack, the subconscious reproduces lack. When you dwell on prosperity, the subconscious reproduces prosperity. The images you hold are not idle daydreams, they are instructions, commands, blueprints for life to follow. Gratitude is one of the strongest ways to affirm the inner reality of abundance. When you give thanks for supply, even before it appears, you declare that it already exists in truth. Gratitude transforms the mind from lack to plenty, from complaint to expectation. Each word of thanks is a seed of wealth planted in the soil of consciousness. To live in gratitude is to constantly water the seed of prosperity, to constantly affirm that abundance is the inner reality, regardless of outer appearances. Outer form may shift and change, but inner reality, once established, creates continuity. The wealth you carry within cannot be stolen, cannot be lost, cannot be diminished, for it is rooted in the infinite. Even if outer money departs for a season, the inner prosperity calls it back again, often in greater measure. Those who cling only to the outer form live in fear, for outer things can change. Those who build the inner reality live in peace, for they know the source is unending, and outer forms are but shadows of the substance they already hold within. To walk in prosperity is to walk first in imagination, in feeling, in conviction. It is to picture riches where others see emptiness, to speak wealth where others speak lack, to expect supply where others expect shortage. The inner state is the cause, the outer state is the effect. When the inner is aligned with abundance, the outer must follow in its time. This is the unbreakable law: as within, so without. Infinite supply is your birthright, claimed without struggle. From the moment you drew your first breath, the universe surrounded you with provision, with sunlight and air, with soil and seed, with endless rivers of energy waiting to be shaped by your consciousness. Scarcity is not the natural order, abundance is. Yet many live as though life were a measure, as though every coin must be begged for, every opportunity fought over, every blessing earned through strain. They forget that the source of all supply is infinite, unfailing, inexhaustible, and that this source belongs to them by right of existence. The birds do not toil, yet they are fed. The lilies do not labor, yet they are clothed in beauty greater than kings. Nature itself demonstrates the principle: life gives freely, life multiplies, life overflows. The orchard is not stingy with fruit, nor the ocean with waves, nor the stars with light. Why then should money, wealth, and opportunity be seen as rare, difficult, or out of reach? They are but another expression of the same infinite supply, awaiting the one who dares to claim them without doubt, without guilt, without struggle. Your birthright is not earned, it is inherited. Just as a child does not labor to be loved by its parents, but is loved by virtue of being, so are you supplied by virtue of existence. The law of life decrees it so. You are one with the source, and the source is never lacking. When you forget this, you fall into the illusion of poverty. When you remember this, you rise into the truth of plenty. The treasure house of the universe is not locked against you, it swings wide when you approach with faith and expectancy. Struggle is the great illusion. Men and women toil endlessly, believing that sweat alone brings supply, yet they see others prosper with ease and call it unfair. It is not unfair. It is law. Those who prosper easily have aligned themselves with the truth of infinite supply. They have claimed their birthright without apology, without hesitation, without chains of guilt. Those who labor in fear, believing life to be stingy, cut themselves off from the very current of supply that is trying to reach them. Struggle closes the hand, faith opens it. Fear builds walls, expectancy tears them down. To claim your birthright is to stand in authority, to say with certainty, I am supplied, I am prosperous, I am heir to infinite abundance. These are not empty words but declarations of truth. The law does not ask whether you deserve them. It responds to whether you believe them. The child of a wealthy parent does not beg for bread, does not fear whether food will be given. They know their portion is secure. In the same way, you must know your portion is secure in the universe, and this knowing calls forth supply without struggle. Supply is infinite because the source is spirit, and spirit has no limits. Money may appear in forms that seem finite, but behind the money is substance, and behind substance is spirit. Spirit is boundless. To believe in limitation is to mistake the shadow for the source. The shadow changes, but the source remains. When you align yourself with the infinite, outer forms of money, opportunities, and blessings multiply, for they are but channels of the one source. When one channel closes, another opens. The flow cannot be stopped, for infinity has no end. To live in the consciousness of infinite supply is to walk in peace. The fear of loss vanishes, for you know that what departs returns multiplied. The anxiety of competition disappears, for you know that no one can take what is yours by divine right. The strain of constant effort fades, for you know that supply comes not by force but by alignment. You become like a magnet, drawing wealth naturally, joyfully, without resistance, because you live in the truth of your birthright. Guilt is another thief that blinds many to their inheritance. They whisper to themselves that it is selfish to desire wealth, that riches belong only to a chosen few, that they must apologize for wanting more. Yet the orchard does not apologize for bearing fruit, the river does not apologize for overflowing its banks, the sun does not apologize for shining. Why then should you apologize for claiming abundance? You are not taking from another, you are drawing from the infinite, which can never be diminished. To claim your birthright is to honor the source, to express its fullness, to reveal its generosity through your life. Expectation is the key that unlocks the treasure house. The one who expects little receives little, for their hands are small. The one who expects much receives much, for their hands are wide. The measure is not set by the source but by you. Infinite supply is ever present, yet it will only flow into the vessel you provide. If your mind is narrow, if your heart is filled with fear, the vessel is small, and the flow is restricted. If your mind is expansive, if your heart is filled with faith, the vessel is vast, and the flow rushes in to fill it. The source never withholds, it only waits for you to open. To live in infinite supply is to see wealth in every direction. Even before the outer signs appear, you declare, I live in a world of plenty. Money flows to me freely. Every need is met in perfect time and perfect way. These declarations are not hopes but acknowledgments of truth. Each word is a claim upon your inheritance, and the law responds by shaping outer circumstances to match the inner decree. The supply comes from expected and unexpected channels, from doors you knew and doors you never imagined, for infinity cannot be confined to one path. Your birthright is secure, but it must be claimed. No one else can claim it for you. The universe will not force prosperity upon you. It waits for your recognition, your acceptance, your alignment. The moment you accept, the flow begins. The moment you doubt, the flow hesitates. Life mirrors your inner stance unfailingly. To say, I am poor, is to reject your inheritance. To say, I am rich in spirit, rich in supply, rich in life, is to receive it. The choice is always yours and the law always obeys. The abundance you claim is not for hoarding but for expression. Infinite supply flows to you so that it may also flow through you. The ocean does not fill one vessel and stop, it keeps pouring, wave upon wave. In the same way, when you recognize your birthright, you give freely, knowing that the flow replenishes itself endlessly. Giving becomes joyous, not fearful, for you know that the more you release, the more the infinite rushes to replace it. This circulation is the rhythm of life, the heartbeat of abundance, and the law that proves itself again and again.